Thursday. It's probably the 8th of April. How's it going, everyone? Hold on one second. I had to sacrifice a button, so there's no pause button for the music. Am I muted? Nah. I was maybe. I'm not muted now, right? I can see me talking. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Metrunner Grid. My name is Andre. How's it going? It is again. It's April. I'll do it again. I'll do it again anyways. It is the 8th of April, 2021. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. The music's gone. The audio's in. How's everyone doing? Happy stream day, Solomir. Hey, happy. Welcome. Parallel Netrunner Thursday. That it is. Joda, hey, how's it going? Endosymbiote says, anyone else here been brewing like crazy with Tau? I think it might be my new favorite ID in the game, and I never really played Shaper. That's actually like the really exciting thing about Tau and a lot of the new Shaper support cards is they let you play Shaper in a way that classically they weren't played before. And I'm looking at this, like, check this out. Where is it? Sanjay's 5th at the early bird tournament. It's Sanjay loves Jesminder, but the idea is now that there's so many good Shaper events with things like Verification and what's it called? Creative Commission. So like having to play that slow Proco Shaper is not necessary. You have enough econ that you don't need Pawn Shop Proco, and that's so cool to just like aggressively jam agendas, or not agendas, events. Maybe you play Onacom too. Onacom seems really good. Yo, Lori, how's it going? Vincent, how you doing? McCarolyn, what up? Sanjay could win with a ham sandwich? Probably. Sanjay has tried to win with a lot of ham sandwiches for what it's worth, and 5th is actually really good at that event. That's a very competitive event. I've been running a Tag Me Counter Surveillance Zaya. You should try one day. Yo, I'm like terrified of going Tag Me. Like all the Tag Me support in the game is kind of rotated, barring like the one that lets you win the game. But like, what do you have to play? Urogniv Mercs to not die? Are people dying to meat damage? Are people still playing? Like, I assume people are playing, what's it called? High profile target, right? Like, how do you go Tag Me? Honestly, if I want to go Tag Me, I'd also consider play Steve. I played some Startup this last week. Jammed a couple games of Startup. It was actually really quite fun. Playing Steve. Steve is really fun. And just bringing back all your, like, your Tag Me, your Hot Pursuits, Run HQ, gain 9 credits, take a tag. It's all good. Arkham J, how's it going, man? We had a rough game last night. We played some Arkham. It did not go well. HP thing is still a thing. So is Boom. So is Punitive. Yeah, I imagine all that stuff. But if you're going Tag Me, right? Like Boom, it's tricky to play around. You could do hand size, I guess. HPT is the problem, though. Because even if you have like a huge hand size with something like Obelisk, like you still die. Oh yeah, you lose versus meat damage or try to embezzle the operations. Yeah, you could try. And maybe you're okay with that sort of swingy matchup. Some matchups are just going to be bad for you. Also, don't play against Reality Plus. They're going to draw their whole deck. Oh man, it's going to be bad for you. We got a deck list of the week. This is actually really cool. No, I don't need to do this. We just want to go, shit. We want to go here. This is the front page deck list of the week. This is called Loup DLotW. It's a Baramou's deck. This is really cool. It is a Lou deck in standard. I think Lou and Gateway is one thing, but as soon as you bring Lou into standard where you have access to cards like Imp, you're doing pretty good. Issues with this deck off the top is the multi-axis looks paltry. All we have is a single Docklands pass, and then our multi-axis is like Imp itself. Lou fires the first time you trash a card you are accessing, so it actually doesn't work with things like Stargate, which is a bummer. So it's okay, but this looks really fun because it has some really cool combinations, and we'll talk about that in a second. Arkham 2nd, greater than Arkham 3rd. Richard, how's it going? We play Arkham LCG. I've actually never played any of the other Arkham board games or Mansion of Madness or any of that stuff. I never touched any of it. Frey, I don't know if I said, hey, how's it going? Or you do Obelisk and just try not to go above 5 tags. But if you're not going above 5 tags, are you really playing Tag Me? Or are you just playing a bad deck that's going to be tagged, right? Like you want to go like 10 tags. You want to counter surveillance. You want to win, and you want to win with style. I'm not taking 5 tags and stopping there. Right? I don't know. Obelisk is a fun card. So this is an interesting deck. Lou is really fun. You trash things, you have a small deck size, that's good. It's a card and a credit, run wild. So we have a lot of ways to trash things. You notice we're not playing the console, we're not playing Carnivore, because Carnivore, for what it's worth, isn't a very good console. I think it's actually not going to see any play outside of the Gateway experience, but in Gateway it's really important just to get Lou the ability to trash everything. So we have an Obcurie. I imagine you could play Keiko too if you played a bit more of these resources, but we also have Friday Chip, and the idea with an Obcurie and Friday Chip is we can infinitely get our Imp tokens as long as we're making successful runs and or trashing things, and then you constantly trash things with Lou, getting your card draw, getting your money. That seems really good. The other the big spice here is we have Prognosticating Loop, and this is a really cool combination that they shout out in the deck list. So Prognosticating Loop for 3 influence is a fair bit, but just about anybody can play this, and this deck does have a fair bit of hardware programs. There's 11 pieces of hardware. Some of them are unique, so I guess it's just a Hippo. It's a bit clumsy. Maybe the Boomerang too, and the Prog. But you also have a bunch of programs, the Botulus, Imps, Rzeki, and to be able to clicklessly see in the top of your deck that there's a Boomerang or a Botulus, be able to install that for credit premium, that's pretty good. And you also get this thing where you get to see 2 cards. So if you manage to trash something during the run using Lou's ability, then you get to draw a card, and then you know it's the second card, so you can choose to prognostic there and then, which gives you a lot of flexibility. This is a neat card. I feel like just about any deck can play it as long as you have enough hardware or programs, and just seeing the top 2 cards of your stack can be quite okay. So we'll see how that goes. Anyone know how long the wait is on physical copies of System Gateway? Jab, it depends who you order it from. I know some people already have copies, but again, it depends whether you did make playing cards or drive through, and it depends how big your order is and where in the world you are. But I 100% know people have physical cards. You're seeing the posts that people saying like, oh, my cards just came in today or what have you. Lori just says soon. For sure. I'm just saying versus meat damage. Otherwise you go home. Yeah, no, that's true. That's fair. System update is starting to arrive places. Since it's not us, but outside shippers is not going to be precise, but it's going. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like Nisei doesn't control this. The people printing the cards do. So I can give you like a best case, but who knows? Also depends on what kind of shipping you pay for. VK, yeah, that's totally true as well. And maybe big orders also sometimes get caught at the borders where they have to do tariffs or whatever. So it's like really, really, it can, there's a bit, it swings. You don't know. Spray says, have you ever come across the Demolisher better than Carnivore yet? No. I really don't like Demolisher at all. So check this out, right? So Demolisher is an Anar console that came out in Downfall. So it's a Nisei card, right? So it's in System Gateway, or Startup, excuse me, which is important. It's not a System Gateway. But the idea with Demolisher, it costs the same, 4 credits. It gives you +1 MU, and it just says the trash cost of each corp card is lowered by 1. So how many cards are you trashing in a game that actually have an install cost? Honestly, it's probably not that many. In Startup, it might not be that many. And this is the first time you trash a corp card, gain 1 credit. So it makes your imps into 2 credits in a card, which is, you know, that's okay. And then every once in a while, it lowers the trash cost of cards. The way I see it, right, like if I just want money, and this is basically an econ console, it doesn't do it that much else, is that I would just play Keiko if I'm playing in Startup, where it has a limited card pool, even outside of that. Because you play Keiko and Paladin Puemo, like that's 2 credits a turn, unconditional. And it helps you set up. It's not conditional on you getting in, doesn't require imps, doesn't require accesses. And regardless, even if I was going to play Demolisher, like I still would rather play Carnivore, because Carnivore lets you trash anything. And that's way more important in that sort of format, where you can see an ice on the top of R&D and trash it and then go back for another card. That is just way more important. Trashing ice, trashing operations, even trashing agendas is an incredibly important thing. And I'm aware Carnivore is not going to see any play in Standard because Imp is like so ubiquitous and so powerful that this won't see play. So maybe you could say Demolisher and Imp, but the value that Demolisher gives you, is if you're not playing against a really heavy acid meta, I'd rather just play Keiko and get the value out of it. Yeah, my order came in today from drive-thru. Ordered Uprising System Gateway. Tony, hell yeah, that's good to see. Another reason to hate tariffs? Well, I think tariffs are probably necessary. But yeah, certain shippers, that was a problem with drive-thru cards specifically, is that they use, I'm not sure if it's USPS or UPS, but ordering to Canada, they tax the fuck out of you at the border. It's pretty bad. You're probably right, but I'm going to keep trying to prove you wrong. No, I appreciate it, man. And like, this is my opinion. I might not be right, but like, I value being able to trash things that the game doesn't allow you to trash. And this just gives you money, but there's other ways to make money. So I'll go for the unique effect generally over this like mild economy effect. That being said, I'm talking about Keiko, which is a classically mild economy effect, but pretty good. Forgetting it's only GST, BST plus brokerage fee. Yeah, the brokerage fee is the question, right? Because we did a mass order, and so we're definitely going to hit some sort of brokerage fee at the border, and then we're going to divide that up. Motorcycles. Yo, Baza, how's it going? How you doing? I think the real question is whether to play Friday Chip or Knob Curie with Imp. I'm a fan of Knob, but Friday Chip is cheaper, so I don't know. Yeah, the thing with like Friday Chip, so Knob Curie is really expensive. It does give you 3 MU, which is quite nice. It's only for viruses though. And Friday Chip says when you trash a card, get a counter. So the thing with Friday Chip is if you're not trashing anything, it's going to be blank. But that being said, you have 3 imps in your deck. And if they purge, they actually do lock you out until you trash something, which is quite something. I feel like a lot of times, like, Knob Curie is really good if you play other cards. Like, this deck also has Botulus, so having multiple virus options, and we'll be talking about this a lot tonight, that seems really powerful. But I feel like a lot of decks could just play Keiko, especially if they're playing Paladin Puemo, maybe even one Trickster Taka. Some decks can play Mystic Miami, and that's a shit ton of money. It's also 2 MU for about 2 credits, which is, like, pretty good. Knob Curie is hella expensive, so I would do some testing and see. I don't think it's clearly black and white, but if you have cards like Botulus, like Knob Curie does get a bit better for sure. You can prepay the fee with UPS for what it's worth. Oh, okay. Can you? I don't know. The shipping costs on drive-through cards were so stupid. Stupid is not the right word. They were very expensive compared to the other option. The Bitcoin just arrived here. Demolisher is a big no-no. Yeah, it's a bummer. And we've seen, for what it's worth, like we've seen other cards like Demolisher. Like Skulljack is a card that even in the most asset-dependent metas, this never saw any play. Now, 2 credits and 1 brain damage is like a fair cost, but lowering the trash costs, even in some metas, that would be like saving in some games 20 credits, but it's just not. It just doesn't do it compared to other cards that give you economy in most situations, not in narrow situations. Yo, Corey, what up? It's Metrograde. What a good way to keep me company while building Marvel Champions decks. What's the new Marvel Champions? Like, I know they just announced Venom and Gamora. What just came out? I haven't checked into Marvel in a while. I guess it was the raccoon and the tree guy, right? The deluxe. I'm doing great. Weather's just amazing the past few days. Yo, it's like 20 degrees, 22 degrees here. Yes, tomorrow. It's gonna be really nice. Yo, what up, Pat? Even Scrubber is better? Yeah, Scrubber is just way better. And I still don't see why people play Paladin Puemo, considering like Scrubber's playable. Maybe the idea is that you don't scrub every turn, so Puemo like is okay for 0. I suppose the smaller deck size helps. McCarlemaine, about Lou? I'm interested to see if this feels like there's enough draw in this deck. So this deck, in theory, has a fair bit of draw with Lou, but you're right. There's no draw cards besides Lou and I've had worse, and that's really scary. For what it's worth, the Prognosticating Loop is a pseudo draw card because it can just get you through your deck without having to draw your cards. And that technically is good click compression at that 1 credit premium. So we'll see. But I think you're totally right. If we don't start trashing things, our draw is going to be pretty middling. I feel like there's not that it is good draw off of off of Wildcat Strike, but Wildcat Strike seems like a pretty good card to put in just about any deck. I'm surprised we don't have it. Let's go try some games out. You mean Fencer? Paladin's a great card. Oh, I was saying Paladin. Paladin's an amazing card. Paladin's the best companion. Fencer Fueno is the big question mark. It's a shame though because we love Fencer Fueno on this channel. Rocket and Groot, yeah, with some villains. Galaxy's Most Wanted Big Box just came out with Rocket, Groot, and campaign of 5 scenarios. Nice. Are the scenarios now more like campaign oriented? Like I know that they tried to do that with the last box where they actually had like the order that you play the scenarios had carryover effects, something akin to, but obviously not the depth of Arkham stuff. Am I wrong to be afraid that Hive Mind will be banned before I get to play it in a tournament? Duck, how's it going? We're going to try the deck today. That deck looks so cool. Honestly, the coolest deck that I think I've ever seen in Netrunner in a really long time. If you haven't seen this deck, you're in for a treat because you get to watch me play it poorly. But I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Well, I don't think anyone's going to ban anything after one tournament, but the deck does... What am I doing? It does look really strong. I haven't played Wildcat, but it seemed not good when I played against it. It's just another gamble with a chance of being worse. If you really need the money, they give you the card draw, but it's not bad. At 2, it's like fine. It's just more gambles. More gambles are okay, I guess. Or runner. Are you sure that's not just going to be deck of the week next week? It probably is, but I'm okay playing it twice. So we did the HB card review thing last weekend. I'm trying to record the Anarch one this week, so I want to get a bit more time in playing the Anarch cards. So it kind of lines up. So we end up playing this deck and then another deck, and maybe we brew something, and then we end up playing that again next week. I don't mind because I just kind of want to play all the Anarch cards, and I played all of them inside Gateway, but it's really cool to see them inside Standard. Good morning, evening. Daylight savings finished, so the stream is an hour early on Friday morning. Yo, how early is it? Is it like too early? Like, Giles, are you waking up at like 7 to see this? Which is really early for me. Or it's like 9 o'clock. Pretty good. Let's let the meta adjust. Yeah, that's actually a really cool thing, VK. And we'll shout this out, I guess, later, but we're going to do it now as well. Is Sengrin ran the tournament? And Sengrin has the tournament all up on their channel, and 11 subscribers for this channel. That's pretty new. Is paltry. More people should check this out. Sengrin SC on YouTube, because not only did they upload that, but they uploaded this video of Pincel, our world champion, 2 years ago, and Lost Geek, who I don't even know what titles Lost Geek has, but very very high high players. Lost Geek is Paolo's Cafe, right? Playing the decks and explaining what they're doing. And you see like the fucking Glacier and Noetic Void, everyone thought that would be the best deck, gets absolutely rolled by this, but then the matchup against the one HB deck that they're playing is a bit more interesting. And that's really cool. So there's meta things. That deck also specifically like is really weak to certain things. Like Hagen is one of the best things in the matchup. Oh my god, Hagen is incredible. So there's things you can do with it, but it definitely looks incredibly powerful because it does do a lot of the scary Netrunner things like deal with ice for free and have win conditions they can pull out of the bin. All right, this hand's good. So we're playing against Sportsmetal. I haven't played against Sportsmetal in the new standard. There's a lot of potential for them to be crazy combo stuff. So having an opening imp is really strong because their ability triggers when we steal an agenda. If we always just imp our agendas into archives and then try and win on one turn, that could be good for us. Now, admittedly, that is pretty hard now considering that they probably have 3 spin doctors and our deck doesn't have Stargate. Because one of the things we want to do is find Vacherons if they're playing Vacherons and get them in archives because they don't trigger in archives. Trank being instant D-res seems nuts. So the Trank thing, though, is like only really good against really big ice. The Botulus is just like good enough. Or like 7 strength on Makua. Wow, that's an opening. So Spin Doctor, and then they double got their stuff down. So we want to trash things. So I think we're just going to do Gamble, Imp. We're going to run R&D. We're going to get a trash and a draw. Hopefully we'll trash whatever we see here. It's a sandbox. No, I guess we steal those. So they can get 2 cards and 2 credits. And then here we can put down the Puemo, which in theory we could have considered putting down first. So we probably just run back again here to get a trash instead of putting down the Rozeki. It's an Anoetic Void. So we can imp this, or we can just pay a credit to keep an imp counter and get a card and a credit. And there we go. Just run less click. Yeah, totally. 2 Arc Lockdown. Yeah, Arc Lockdown is really good against that deck. In theory, there's that thing that trashes 0 cost cards that's really strong. Best defense is a thing. Hagen looks really good. Magnet looks playable. Like there's a lot of ways to deal with it. Can someone in the chat let me know what the YouTube channel was? Semiotics, it's Ysengrin SC. Yeah, Duck just typed it in there. YSENGRINSC. Okay, so face planting here is a bit rough if we hit exactly like we said, if we hit into a Hagen because it eats our imp. We could force here. What did they do? They did hedge fund, install. So we could hit just about anything here. We'll run server 1 and force a res. Oh, Giles with the link, thank you. Let's force some money. There's a Fairchild 3, that's good. That's why we ran first click, because this thing is really punishing, so we're gonna have to click through it. But they just spent half their money, and we know what this is. We can also hippo this later once we get a hippo and click through it. So Rashida Yahim. So we could actually imp this, but I feel like our imp is going to go farther in the matchup, and I don't think we're going to install Knob Curie. So we'll just pay 1, which is free, and get a free card draw. Look how good that is for us. So turn 2, firing twice. This guy is looking very similar to Hoshiko. Not too bad whatsoever. We really do want to find a turn, though, where we can kind of sit back and put down our Puemo and our Rizeki. Because they don't have a very explosive opening. So we can kind of like maybe play some of the later game cards. So they shuffle back in lateral and Rashida. New card in server 1. Maybe they ice up here because we can click through that if we wanted to. And that's what the real threat here is if they have seamless launch, they can score at this 4-2 from hand. So I'm going to run HQ and force a res here. They did draw about 4 times with the Spin Doctors, so the chance of having another agenda in hand is kind of high. I thought draw last click was life. Wait, what do you mean? Okay, that's going to fire. That's fine. We don't have an Amakua. That is a bad face check technically. It lets them draw. And they can actually shuffle away. They just drew 2 and end the run, but they did spend 3 credits, and now we can get through this for 3 credits. It's nice to get this down cheap early. With 3 credits, they can't res a Hagen here in R&D, so we're going to run R&D. We could consider like dirty laundering, but they could res a Gatekeeper or a Magnet, or I guess actually here they could get a Drafter, but it's not that bad. They don't really do too much. We could consider dirty laundering here, but it's kind of high. No, no worries. Yeah, okay, they're going to let us in. We take those. All right, so we found a Vashron, we imp it, we win the game. We lost so much Puemo value. We're going to go back. Damn, we're good. Okay, now they're... Oh, now they hit the money. Oh, I totally forgot they got money. I was like 3 credits go in. I forgot you got cash. Okay, so this is a really good card against viruses because that first subroutine is really, really strong. So they definitely got us there. The question is either the Rizeki or the Paladin. The Paladin technically will give us the money to install the Rizeki, and it's sooner to be credit positive, so we're going to go for that. Yeah, so Sportsmetal, it was 2 cards or 2 credits. I totally forgot about that when we stole that agenda. So we lost our 1 imp. It's not coming back, but we have more of them. And they don't have enough money to score out here. So red level clearance does help. Nice imp, Raffle. We have 2 more. So they didn't do anything with this, right? If it was a Rashida, they would have rezzed it. It could be a Managarm, which we can't really trash it if we click through Fairchild 3. Noob. Thanks, Nick. Really thanks. Oh, that's a Liberator looks like now, right? So we want to find our breakers. This deck doesn't have a lot of draw. Botulus is quite strong. This deck doesn't have Cookbook in it. I don't think we have that many viruses besides the Botulus and the Imps, and Imp doesn't really require Cookbook. So I think we can draw again. There we go. And this requires 2 Botulus counters. If they score out here, it's probably not that bad for us. There's only 1 more sandbox, which is kind of a scary thing. So we're just going to install this for 1 credit. I don't want to install Liberated to go down to like no money. We don't need the second. It's fine. Don't need the imp if you're hitting all the agendas you want to steal. Just keep doing that. There's the seamless. If they get the last sandbox here. Okay, off-world office. Okay. So that's 1 seamless down. They're on 11 credits. They scored 7 plus 2 more from their ability as a card from System Gateway. So if we want to get through this, it's 2 subroutines. Botulus only comes in with 1 counter. So I think we put the Botulus on the Hagen. I don't know how we're going to contest this yet, though. Oh, Boomerang's really good. So we could do Imp, Boomerang, run HQ. Well, we Dirty Laundry HQ. Yeah, it's good. Seamless is deceptively strong. Seamless is like, I think, one of the strongest cards in the whole set. Seamless is incredibly strong. When Jiteki or someone else have the rights to make a mobile version we could play Netrunner on, having the rights is an interesting thing because like this is a fan project. The rights aren't really considered. So anybody can make a mobile version. I don't think anyone owns the rights. SFSS was better? I don't even think so. It's a violet level clearance. We could trash it for 1 or we could use an imp counter. That's definitely a good trash here. I think we'll pay for 1. It's basically free. And we're going to get our money back anyways. Okay. Needs to handle development on JNet, so I guess they could, but it require quite the effort. Yeah, I really doubt that that's something that is like on their priority. You can technically play this, this is not a particularly good mobile game. Like the amount of screen space you need is pretty wild. They don't think we're cool anymore. Can't FA with Seamless? SFSS was definitely better, right? Otherwise, it's the same card. No, because that's the big deal with Seamless is that it's twice as fast. It's twice as fast, right? Because Seamless can score out an unadvanced 4-2. You can't do a ship from Sen. Shipment from Sen's a double. It's just free 2 counters, which helps like get around Clot and stuff like that. But it's not acceleration. It's just cheaper. Yeah. SS was a double. If it wasn't a double, it would have been, well, it's strictly better than Seamless. Just go with the time. All right, so this looks like a monogarm into a Fairchild 3. So if we click through that, we need 5 credits. They have 10 credits. They could probably res things. Things are falling a bit apart. We could always like botulus on this and run for a single and trash our Frizeki. That doesn't seem amazing. So I think we will pressure. We don't have a conduit or anything. Like, that's the problem with the deck is we have very little pressure. Like we have to run for a lot of singles, which I don't love. And the Friday chip is not necessary because we're actually going to pay for our accesses pretty heavily. So I'm hoping they score it next turn. So I'm going to threaten the Hagen with a single run. We probably want the prognosticating loop because that's kind of what the deck does. But that seems a bit slow. Because I think we need to get this down so it has 2 counters and then deliberate it maybe next turn. We'll draw again for shit. We really just want a breaker. I don't think we need a Friday chip. Is Jinteki functional phones? Yeah, technically. Technically functional. It's probably not easy to use, but like you can play it on a tablet. For what it's worth, we had people win like championships playing on tablet. That's why the deck list is known as a tablet Asa. Oh my god, that's such a strong card now because they can score this agenda and deal with the threat we put on R&D. But yeah, it's playable on tablet. You have some issues. On a phone, it's just a real estate issue. Well, Last Doctor, okay. Hasty accelerated diagnostics shipment from Sansan. No, the shipments for Sansan was really important for combo. Last click vial level clearance. Okay, so that is a couple things, right? We put this on R&D, but they just drew a lot. So the chance of them having agenda in HQ is pretty strong. Assuming this is a monogarm, if they want to never advance out of 5-3, they need two things. So we can either run Archives or run Spin Doctor. I'm kind of more interested in running Spin Doctor because if we run Archives, this deck is likely to have a CVS because of the sandboxes. So we could consider putting on Prognostic. No, let's just run this. They're going to pop this. AD ignored additional cost. Yeah, so shipping from Sansan became a single, which was kind of the thing. You got to get the Q loop down, feels slow, but then accelerates everything else. Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think we'll do it here because now we see the top of the deck and this is free. So we'll run R&D. Oh, each turn, first time. Oh, I'm a very stupid man. AD was busted as heck. Same, was it actually the same pack as Power Shutdown? Ooh. Nope. It looks like actually it might be a CVS in server 1. Let's see. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's not a Managarm. So this thing fires, which is honestly totally fine. They end up spending 3 credits on that. So that's fine. So they can trash something and end the run. We don't have a thing here. We could like try and prognostic Q loop, but it would be like a 2 and 26 on a boomerang. So they trash the botulus. That's fine. We have more of those. I really want to find time for Liberate. I just don't know when the time is. I just want to find breakers. That's good. We get through this for a lot. The Purge, though, on the Imp is a bigger thing here. It was definitely the same cycle. Yeah, I don't know if it was the same pack. It might have been. Okay, so that could be a Managarm. And this is the sort of deck that beats that, like, that virus deck. And just going fast like this does it. Okay. So what's our plan here? We could run here server 1, see how things go. Yeah, that seems fine. So we have an overclock on top of their deck and a liberated. None of those things can interact with prognosticating loop. So installing the last turn gave us access to paperclip for 5 credits, which you don't really want to do. Okay. All right. Rozeki down. That's okay. Is it? This looks really bad for us. I think we have to install the liberated, but it's like so slow for how fast this matchup goes. But like we install click, and then we're not drawing. We know the next 2 cards of our deck don't really help. Getting this paperclip into the bin is probably more important. That helps us install the paperclip if we need to like get through this Hagen. So we could do that again. Then install this, we go down to 0. It's like really bad. I don't love this at all. Right, like ending your turn with 3 credits means that they know if we need to hit this button a bunch. That's a Rashida in the remote server. So they drew through gain 3. They did violet level clearance as well, so they're looking for something, and I think they just want to do it never advance and then double seamless. Lateral, wow. Man. That's good. When you got that much card draw, right? And this is the sort of deck where like it's arguable. Wow, Tranquility Home Grid, where this would be a better ID in the new Precision Design or in Sportsmetal. And now with a single seamless we lose here, right? So it is GG. Unless we got a botchless off the top of the deck, I think this is GG, right? Because we need to triple click through this, so we have to run just this click. That's why installing this was like a huge mistake. A huge mistake. So we have to run here, right? So we overclock this, and we have enough money to install that, but not to break it. So I don't think we can run. I can't give you my Twitch Prime. Yeah, Omega Crab, like I appreciate it, but currently we're not affiliated because we stream on YouTube as well, so we don't have that option. You have to stream exclusively on Twitch to have that option, and if you make YouTube content, it has to be delayed like 24 hours. We don't do that. Okay, so what could this be? This could be literally anything. If it's a gatekeeper, we're fucked. Even if it's the third Hagen, I think we're screwed, right? Because with the overclock, we can install this, and then we still can't break this. So botchless can break the ETR separate. You're right. We can actually botchless this Fairchild. We could do botchless, liberated, overclock. But at that point, like, what do we do with this piece of ice here? Right? Like, it can be literally anything. And we need to stop them from having 3 credits to score out if it's seamless, advance, right? So they need to spend, basically it has to be a tier. And even if it's a tier, we click through it, we're done. So I don't know what we can do here. And this is exactly the ice that deals with this sort of the matchup. Like, Hagen's so good. So I think we have to go for a different remote, but the problem is, or a different server, but the problem is like, how? So like we could do liberated, put botchless on this ice, overclock R&D, and then like hope that we hit a real 5-3. We can't steal a Kawa. Vacheron doesn't do it. And we don't have any way to trash things. So I don't think we have a chance here besides hoping this isn't the winning agenda. If we had an Imp, we could go HQ and maybe hit a seamless launch, but we don't have access to an Imp. Maybe we get off the prognostic loop. It's a 1 in 23. Corrections, 2 in 23. Ooh, looking a lot better. I think that's the only line of play we have. Yeah, that's the only line of play we have. And they can draw 3, which is going to be really bad for us. Yeah. Yeah, anything here this is really bad. Well, we'll see what's on top of our deck. Prognostic Q-Loop. No, Dirty Laundry. Nothing. You can Luxac Q-Loop into Botchless. Yeah, that's the only play we had here. But it's not going to work. And we can't break both of these, so they can always draw 3 to hide something. But if this is any code gate, even if it's a white space, we're fucked. I'm good for now. They can shuffle agendas away. Yep, they can also shuffle agendas away. The thing is, like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the fact that they can shuffle agendas away, this is stupid. I was hoping that we'd get an Imp and then trash a seamless launch off the top of this. Like, that was our wild play, because there's no way we're getting 3 points before they score out of 5-3. So it's a drafter that can fire this. That's a bigger issue now, because they can bring another seamless launch into hand in case they really needed it. Omega says, I'm such a fan, just got back into Netrunner after a long hiatus and been loving this startup format with friends. Managed to win a game with Public Trail, seamless launch, orbital score into Neurospike. Hell yeah! Those are why the cards are in that set. Man, that's the good combo. Oh, I did not hit that. Yeah, so here we had to hit an imp, so we lose. We're just a bit too slow. We're just a bit too slow. Orbital Superiority is secretly an amazing agenda. It's an agenda so niche that nobody plays around it. Oh, it's a CVS. Okay. Why'd they purge? Wait, do we have an imp with counters on it? No. Why'd they purge? Do we have counters on our imp? I didn't think we did. Oh, it's because of this. Yeah, right. GG. Startup is such a great format right now. It kind of makes standard feel like a turn. It kind of does. It really does. Startup is quite fun. It's a GFI. So even the real 3-pointers, we'd have to steal 2 of them. And look at that. Corp, 63 credits. We gained 29. And we struggled with card draw. We struggled with getting our economy up. It just Liberated feels a bit too slow. I would rather have, and again, it's matchup dependent, but in this matchup, if this was a Wildcat Strike, we'd be better. Are those operations named? It begs the question, why Lou and not Ed? Because Lou can imp anything and then get a card draw. And it's also a 40 card deck. Career Fair is a real Liberated, but it's not even the Career Fair. Like, Career Fair definitely helps. I think the bigger issue is just slow. Oh, cheers. Anarch, coming. Thanks, you too. Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, we're going to do the Anarch one hopefully this weekend. We'll try and do 1 a week. That's kind of the idea. All right, let's give it another shot, though. Our prognosticating loop never fired. I think we only had 1 legal trigger, which was a paperclip if we did the order correctly. But I don't want to tempo up a paperclip off the top of the deck. Doesn't seem good. Yeah, I wonder if Ed is going to see any play now that Lou exists. The HP review was honestly top quality. You're playing 2 the other factions? Yeah, no, Omega, we're going to do every single faction. So there's 7 of them. It's going to be Anarch next. And then we're basically going to do like Corp Runner until we're done. So it'll be like a month of content. Are you excited for Hive Mind Max to be the deck list of the week? Yo, Vale, I'm so excited. We're going to play it today because I think it's honestly the coolest. The coolest deck. It's easier if you watch. Is it just the deck of the week? Yeah, Ion, it is the deck of the week right now. I think we just played, huh? Oh, sync. Fuck. At least we can trash things, but we don't have the economy to sustain this. Like, we need to open with a Liberated because we can't interact. That's one of the issues. Is like our ability is dependent on us interacting with the corp, and like we've got absolutely blown out by sync a couple weeks ago. That is, if they just have the nuts, they have like what's it called, economic warfare into hard hitting news. You lose the game because you can't clear 4 credits for 12. Or 4 tags for 12 credits, excuse me. So like we basically have to mulligan until Liberated and play as safe as possible. Maybe we can dirty laundry and hope. But this hand, we don't really want any of these cards. Oh no, these 2 are really good. The Poemo and the Rizeki. They mulligan too, we'll mulligan. For Liberated, that's good enough. And we need multi-axes in the deck. I don't think Docklands is exactly what we need, but it's nice. Will they flip though? Yo, what up? How's it going, Phil? We just recorded our first podcast covering all the new runner stuff. Next episode is all the corp stuff. We're no Metro Grid, but we're trying. Wait, Janktivis, what podcast is that? All right, double ice. So at least we can do nothing. Sick. All right, let's go. And this is the problem. If we're not going to run a lot, our ability is not going to be that relevant. There's the first Spin Doctor. We haven't posted it yet, but we're the collective. Sick. Janktivis, are you going to post it on Reddit? Or how are we going to know about this? Phil, I love podcasts. Yeah, I got a shout out. I was in a podcast. We'll talk about it in the news section, but you can check that out as well. Because there are like 9 of us that are meta want to rotate in and out. Oh, that's really cool. 4 clicks for +2 seems good. With this thing, it gets better. It's not the worst. It's really click intensive. So again, I don't want to run. I'm just going to basically take all the money, make sure that we have enough draw that like we can do something when it shows up. Like Botulus is really good for charging the remote, so I'm just gonna hit this. And sometimes it's actually good to keep 4 credits on here. There's no more closed accounts though, so actually that doesn't matter that much. Yeah, let's just take all the money. They're not doing anything quickly, neither are we. Remember podcasts are my jam. I miss RLC and TWA. The Winning Agenda did do an episode for the spoilers for Scoop season. Run Less Click I was a big fan of. Same with Terminal 7. But what else was gonna shout out? I need to watch the one that Eric recommended, The Process. I haven't seen that or listened to it. Okay, 16 credits. So in theory, we can run here. We can draw for Dirty Laundry if it's a second Sports Doctor, Spin Doctor. All right, give us a price hack. It's Rashida, so we'll trash that. Yes, that's good. And now we just want to ensure that we have as much money as possible so we don't do the bad thing. So the most that can make us lose is 8 credits. At this point, we've already ran. We might as well tackle the Spin Doctor and then click for credit. We actually don't want to pay 2 credits for this. I'm hoping that they pop it. A lot of times they will. Yeah, there you go. The Process is really entertaining. Must hear that intro music. Must hear intro music too. I haven't heard it yet. I'm excited. Terminal 7 I really liked. Prof is on ASI and Fly from memory. Uh-oh. Fucking second Spin Doctor. At least they're not doing anything. Like they're just setting up some combo. Fly is terrifying. At least now there's a 3-2 that's better than Fly. All right, so that's okay. Not a real threat here. What did they shuffle back in? I didn't even pay attention. They shuffled back in unseen cards. So they're just carving their hand for combo land. I'm not interested in contesting that. I'm just going to get more money. T7 was GOAT. T7 was really good. Yo, Litterbug, what's up? Hello, everyone. I just got absolutely wrecked by Tag Me Counter Surveillance Zaya deck. How we all doing? Yo, maybe you're talking about someone else in chat. Someone else in chat was saying, I don't remember exactly who was saying. Let me check. They were playing Counter Surveillance Zaya. Who was saying that? Vincent? Yeah, Vincent was. Okay, server 4 is alive and well. So we could go check out what it is. AR enhanced security is kind of the nightmare here. There's very little that'll tag you on site besides ping, and we can deal with ping. So I'm gonna botulus this and run. Let be known I said it, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me who wrecked you. Damn it. Oh, it's a mouseless. Okay, so we'll break the 1 tag subroutine and take the net damage. Hopefully it hits their MK Ultra. So this actually works out pretty well. So mouseless has 3 subroutines. We're gonna break the tag one because that's the worst one for us. And the other 2 will fire. So they gain a credit. Good enough. Prof is on 3x market forces. So market forces is only lose like what, 3 credits if you have 1 tag. No closed accounts and no one seems to run market forces. Economic warfare is just better. Yeah, but the thing is like the idea is that they want to bury you with tags and then take away all your money. We lost the Friday chip. That's acceptable. And it's a Rashida, which will trash, which gain a card and draw. We have way more money than them. I'm not scared. I'm going to run server 3. And I think if we put down the Rizeki, it will be a 19. They can make us lose 4 or lose 4. And we probably don't play the Rizeki. We'll just click Liberated like cowards. And if that's the thing, if they haven't been doing anything. If they were jamming aggressively, this is a very different game. But they gave us like the 4 turns to empty Liberateds over and over again. And once we get our Rizeki up, like then we're really comfortable. We lost a Friday chip to net damage. It doesn't matter. The remote gets a bit better. I honestly think that Lou is decent against a lot of corps right now as it forces them to either slow down or open themselves to getting imped. Yeah. No, I believe it. But once they get like 1 ice on every server, sometimes it can be a struggle. Okay, so they're not doing anything too fast still. So we can go a bit slower. I don't know how slow we want to go. I want to hit this into the bin just for F2P, I guess, but we can pay for F2P. Yeah, okay, we'll play a bit for the longer game because this one's going to take a second. So we need Hippo to crack them open. Yeah, we got 3 Hippos. That's for sure. A single advancement's like really weird, right? So I still think we go for this. How bad could it be? There you go. It's a ping. Okay, so we do have a paperclip. Wrong card. So we have to clear 1 tag for sure. Oh, you think it's a QPM? Yeah, you're right. It could be a QPM. If they score a QPM, though, I don't think we care. So we'll break this. Oh, shit. So we'll definitely break the tag. And honestly, I don't care about the net damage. I actually want them to hit this. To care late game when they swap it? Yeah, swapping will be a problem, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's probably QPM. Single event is super weird. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, we lost Paladin. It's fine. Oh, it's a fly on the wall. Well, that was a bit more important to steal. So if they score that, they would give us a tag. I don't know what they do with a single tag. They might try and wipe all of these. Okay. Well, we'll make sure we remove the tag. It's pretty expensive. We have a Dirty Laundry, which we can check archives if we want to, but we're in no rush. We have 16 credits to their 5, so at worst we can go down to 8 credits, and then they can't get the hard-hitting news trace, I don't think. We really want to get that hippo down and start pressuring HQ, because HQ at this point they probably filtered with double a spin doctor, but the agendas have to be somewhere. We do have to play around the new 3-2. That thing is scary. Could be on retribution for single tag punishment. I reckon they are. But it's not that big of a deal on an Anarch, right? Like all our breakers come back. The worst case is like they trash our console or something, but they're still not doing anything. Like this is really bad for them. They're just clicking for credits. So we can poke HQ. Yeah, let's poke HQ. I don't want to lose this to damage, but there's very little that will break here. Like it could be IP block, and I don't think we'll end up hippoing an IP block. 12 credits at sync? Oh no, I know 12 credits, but the trace that we just need to beat. If we can always beat the hard-hitting news trace, we're fine. Like then we don't need the 12 credits. Bologna, okay. That puts us on game point. We can always Dirty Laundry archives. They're 7 to 12, so they can bring us down. If they have the nuts, they can bring us down to 8 credits. Oh, sorry, to 4 credits, which will be a problem. So I think we actually will Dirty Laundry archives. Oh, shit. Paladin. No, that's fine. We'll install something. Maybe we should have installed the Docklands Pass, but we'll just get as much money as we can. We'll see 4 cards here, too. Chance there's a Bologna in here. Pretty low, but not 0. Oh, good game. Oof. Yeah, that seemed rough. They threw a 2 consulting. What's in hand? Did they totally flood up? Because what are they throwing this out? I guess 12 ice is tough. Oh, it can be for sure. Off-world office. Whoa. 2 consulting visit in the bin shows something is up. Yeah, we were just doing that to make sure that we have enough money to play around, like, in theory, public trial. Public trial is also, like, fucked up. Public trial is a really big issue for us. Like, we can't afford to lose 8. Public trial is, in a lot of ways, better than economic warfare. But I don't think the single tag punishment is that bad. If they public trial us, we will take a tag. I think we'll take a tag, because what do they do? Retribution, Rizeki, or Puemo? Fine. It's better than losing 8. What's public trial? Public trial is the new C source. It says play only the runner made a successful run. Give the runner a tag unless they pay 8. And there's certain situations where you can't take the tag if like exchange of information is game winning. But in terms of single tag punishment at this board state, trash or Puemo. We're not going to pay 8. I'm saying trial. I'm saying trial. I'm saying it right. I'm saying it right. Market forces is not a big deal. Like what does market forces do? We lose 3, they gain 3, whatever. Like, I'd be more scared if they did a predictive planogram at that point. Trail. Maybe I'm doubling down. Whatever I say is correct at this point. Paper trial. There. Nailed it. Okay, so they're on economic warfare. This is market forces. Play only the runner loses 3 credit for each tag they have. You gain 1 credit for each credit loss. So basically, they gain 3, we lose 3. It's not a big deal. I'll take a tag for that. Public trial is a better name. Andre knows what he's doing. That's the thing though. Is like I don't know. The meta seems pretty fast. I don't know if there's a lot of decks that are installing like 4 resources. So the ASI isn't that scary. That's the all-seeing eye, which isn't highlighted here for some reason. But it basically says if the runner is tagged and they don't have bad publicity, trash all resources. Public trial sounds like a Wayland card. I think I'm thinking of paper trail. Paper trial. Yeah, okay. Yeah, planogram's really good. You know, a card called Public Trial is in development just to spite you. Oh man. Then he's always wrong. It's trail the same way you pronounce paper trial. Yeah, paper trial. Cool. Was halfway in your fundamentals video when I realized you streamed. There's never a streamer. Yo, Moo, there's lots of us. There's like literally dozens. Glad you could make it. We need to do more of those fundamental types videos. That's for sure. I need y'all to send in replays. It feels really bad because I asked for some replays at probably the worst time ever. So like Zandoria sent a replay with annotations, and I need to watch through it. I haven't responded yet, but like it's just unfortunate because all the cards like rotated and it doesn't make sense to use for content. But at this point, like I would love to get system gateway games, or sorry, startup games, right? No, system gateway games, to be able to do some annotation and stuff. So if you have any, if you fancy yourself a newer player, you fancy yourself to be quite good, if you want to send in replay files to metropolgrid@gmail.com, we might end up using them for video, which would be good. Retribution being one influence is nutty. I think it's good for one influence. Anarchs do really well. Criminals really struggle against it. Pepperturl. It would probably be related to Zealous Judge. You see, that's why it's a trial. It's a judge. Also, Virus Hate our tight slots here. A lot of the other decks seem to be running cyber decks. Friend and I are playing some startup games. He's brand new. Oh, it'd be cool to see. Lots of people getting back in now that startup and gateway exists. Yeah, Kayak, how's it going? It's huge. It's such a big deal. In a deck with so few ice, I don't know if you can afford the macrophage. Hey, how's it going, Moonbeans? It just says, "Hi, loved you." Oops. Yeah, I reckon there's more to that sentence. How's it going? That's really funny. I have a total of 0 actual games done. What? Been trying to get into the game for years, bought all the cards after the game was dead. Holy shit. You're at a good time to get some games in, Moo. There's a lot of people who are trying to get games in right now because they're learning the game. Join the Green Level Clearance Discord if you want. It's a really nice place. Love your intro to HB. I'm one of those new players. Oh, hell yeah. That's good to know. Beans, excuse me. We're going to go through all of the, we're going to go through all the factions, so we'll get more stuff. 40 in line break. Oh, you did. Fantastic. Welcome to the game, Moo. It's a good time to start. It really is. Hey, jeez. I don't know what Wacko's name is in chat. Hopefully they say hi specifically. All right, we'll do one more. Because our ability hasn't fired. We haven't prognosticated too aggressively. That we kind of, you know, they got a bit flooded. So whatever. Currents are currently banned. Yeah, John, they've been banned for a long time now. Currents are currently banned. There was no changes to the ban list when the new cards came out as of like last week. And technically the new meta starts tomorrow here. Technically starts, legally standard starts on the Friday the 9th, which is tomorrow. Thanks. Can you see the community grow? Yo, Moonbeans, it's a great community. It really is. I think everybody says that about whatever community they're into, but the Netrunner community is like something very special. So definitely get involved. Talk to people, say hi. Oh, Titan. Oh, sorry. That's a huge point. Yeah, no, they banned Titan. They did ban Titan. Sorry. No, that's totally wrong. There is actually a pretty significant change to the meta. Excuse me. Ban list 2006 was the death of Currents, June 2020. We were so young. New meta, what rotates out? Hi. Best of luck. Have fun. So, new meta, what rotates out? What rotated out when these new cards came in? Rotated out was Honor and Profit. So the Jinteki Criminal Deluxe and the whole Sand cycle. So there's 6 data packs. I think trading Titan for precision was cool. Yeah, it's neat. It's not Titan. So I don't know. I've fast advanced and Wayland built to last. This is the Sportsmetal. So again, we want to keep that Imp early. We have the Boomerang for the remotes. The Liberate counts as a bit slow. We do have a Gamble though. We'll keep this. I would love to have Imp Laundry. That's like a really good opening. Discord is crazy welcoming. It is really good. Salvage Memories and Syscore. Oh yeah, that's actually worth noting. They're not like technically Netrunner products, but Salvage Memories was the thing Nita introduced that brought back in a couple cards to the game. That's rotated. Oh, this looks more like Limes' deck, so the Imp is going to go pretty far. We'd actually install Nopcurie in this matchup. That rotated, and System Core 2019 had some cards that rotated in it as well, because System Update replaced it. Lucky Server 2. Yeah, I'm doing a terrible job explaining what rotated. Actually, a lot of stuff. That's a Nico campaign. We'll actually trash that for 2. We're going to go Imp something else. Hopefully an agenda. Superconducting HUD? Yeah, fuck that. Now, the issue with this sort of strategy, this was so much stronger before Spin Doctor, but now imping their agendas is not like a foolproof plan. It's Tropical Sportsmetal. How's it going, Kirk? What's on JNet right now is already what the new rotation will be. The date is just when that comes to standard for sure. Oh yeah, so when I'm talking about like things changing the new meta as of tomorrow, that's largely what everyone's already playing. It's not going to be like a change from what you're going to see tonight and what you're going to see tomorrow, but technically it's different. Okay, so we're going to run server 5. Hopefully we draw a card. Some of the salvage memory cards are in SG and update. Yeah, I think 2 of them are like prepaid. No, 3 prepaid. Sansan. We'll trash that. And that 0 credit one. Oh, I love a Friday chip. Subliminal, right? Why do we imp there instead of stealing? Manuel, how's it going? So this is actually a really big deal. And for players who are not familiar with this, sorry, one sec. For newer players, so this is Sportsmetal, and their ability says when an agenda is scored or stolen, gain 2 credits or draw 2 cards. That's a really big deal. So every time we steal one of these shitty agendas, of which they have 18 in their deck, it gives them a lot of tempo. But more importantly, there is 2 cards that are incredibly powerful. One of them is called Game Changer, and it says when you play this card, gain a click for every agenda in the runner's score area. And this deck is very comfortable with you getting 6 agendas and then some other like pseudo agenda points that count for this card. And then they have a turn with like 15 clicks and they score out 7 points. It's a combo deck. So the best thing you can do a lot of times is just never steal their agendas, because then their deck is really weak. And all the cards that care about how many agendas in the runner's score area don't do anything. And then the deck is really shitty. So that is like the big counter to the deck. This deck won Worlds. A deck like this won Worlds. Again, rotation happened by Limes, who played it really well, and it was a really good meta call. But it is not by any means an unbeatable deck if you can consistently trash things. I'm going to Ive Edwards. This is really rough in the matchup because we don't want to imp anything. And we can't install or liberate it. Oh, I've made a terrible mistake. This deck is also very likely to have very little ice, so I'm going to throw out a Hippo. Also, Manny is a very good way to call me Anglophones. Manuel. It's a crazy deck. Yeah, it's cool. There's a fair bit of cards that care about that sort of ability. So they look like a triple advance. It's just a hyper loop, so they can get 3 credits plus another 2 credits or 2 cards, and it looks like we win for the cards. So our strategy here is just to make sure that we have enough, what's it called? Imp counters. A Nom-Kuri would be great. We just want to keep drawing. None of this stuff is useful. Botulus is not useful in this matchup. And I don't want to steal an agenda, so I'm not gonna. Which is a problem because we're gonna end up throwing a bunch of this shit out. Overclock's okay if we end up hitting a Meridian, because we can use this to trash things. You can even use this to trash assets. They're playing Nico campaign for some reason. I don't know. I don't want to play the Docklands Pass. I don't. Stealing agenda seems bad. I've been trying Game Changer in the new HB. Are you running? Because the new HB in theory is okay with you running a lot of agendas. I just feel like Sportsmetal is a lot easier to get the value. Artist Colony Data Dealer, but Fanside rotated. Yeah, Fanside rotated. Data Dealer also rotated. It's not legal anymore. Unless they have additional costs to steal, like Obokata. Oh, Moo asked if you can refuse to steal agendas. Yeah, they need additional costs. If it says to steal this, do something, you can choose not to steal this. But anytime you access an agenda, you have to steal it. Unless you can trash it. So this is a problem. Like, we have to steal one of these. That is huge. Unfortunately, we are a click short of this, because I want to install this to constantly get an imp token. So we try and hit a Rashida or something. So I'm going to do this anyways, and we'll just run server 7 and hope it's not a news team or something. It's a mega pre. That's the worst. So this is another issue. Is this agenda is a 3-1, but now that there's 1 scored, all their other mega pre's are 3-2s, which makes it a lot easier for them to win the game. So obviously that's bad for us. Now we do have to remember, if they don't have it's a Maryland campaign, that's good. We can Friday chip this to get an imp. So that's actually really good that they have one of those out. And we have to remember, as soon as we get to like 5 points, we can just run Archives hopefully and win if they have no Spin Doctor. Stargate is good. Stargate's one of the best cards because you can run R&D, C3 cards, and then throw out either their combo pieces or their agendas. And there's very specifically this 1 5/3 agenda called Project Vacheron that is really hard you add it to your score area, but it's worth 0 points until 3 turns later, in which this deck usually scores out. Yeah, you want to basically get that into Archives where it doesn't trigger. So now we're installing Friday Chip so that when we trash the Maryland campaign, we'll get a Lou ability, and Friday Chip will let us put a virus counter on an imp on any virus at the beginning of next turn. And so we're okay. You can get Friday Chip rolling with Hippo. Yeah, Hippo technically works too. Hippo does work, but it'll be easier just to trash cards like Marilyn, Rashida, Nico campaign, stuff like that. But also this is slower than what's it called? Like I forgot we're not gonna get it this turn. But at least we draw a card here, which is good. And it's another imp. That's amazing. We just don't have clicks here. And they can shuffle the Maryland back. So unfortunately here, not a lot to do. They can score out 2 points on the table pretty easily. I'm going to click up again. And then we have 2 imps, and 2 imps is really good because then we can ensure that the Friday Chip imp thing works because this is not the first time. It's whenever you trash. So we're in an okay spot. I did kill Spags by sprinting snares into the deck over and over again. So that was nice. Oh, man. Install second imp. Yeah, now that we have 2 imps, we're in a really good spot. We can basically trash anything they put on the board. As long as we don't fuck it up. Oh, Jeeves, that's really good. They purge here. Yeah, that's fine. That's really fine for us. Yeah, now they're in a bad spot. So I'm actually going to install this imp, and then I'm going to run server 10, because we can always trash this with real money, but server 10 could be an agenda. For the new player, the general sports combo build has 11 or 12 1-point agendas. Yeah, that's usually it. And then they have a couple of Vacherons. So this is a news team. So this is an agenda that we can add to our score area to be worth -1 agenda points, which is a problem for us. If we do that also, we can't trash it, which is not amazing. But this is, it counts as an agenda. So all those cards that care about how many agendas in the score area, it also stops us from winning. We actually could take it for tags and then clear 2 tags, which wouldn't be the worst. But we need to trash the Jeeves. I think we're going to take this as score area. This might be wrong. So now we're at 0 agenda points. But we definitely want to trash this Jeeves to get at the thing. You can't just float tags, Marcus, in this deck, because this deck generally runs 1 copy of Boom, which says if the runner has 2 tags, do 7 meat damage. We could float a single tag, though. That's very true. We could definitely float a single tag. Some of them run exchange of information, but most don't. I think floating a single tag probably was reasonable. I think floating a single tag would be right. Yeah, we only lose Liberated. We don't care about anything else. So we already used this imp, so we don't have anything else really to do with it. I think floating a single tag would have been right. It's one of Lime's deck against basically the other Lime's deck. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Lime's did play a very imp heavy like Friday Chip deck. Here we could deny them money. The money actually kind of matters for them. Yeah, we'll dirty laundry and deny this thing. 6 credits for them is a lot. Game Changer costs 6 credits to play. And we're hoping that they never score agendas. They probably just purge here. Also, Metropolitan Grid, I think you can click Friday Chip to set the virus counter gain to automatic. I don't like doing that a lot of times. I like doing my triggers manually because it makes me remember them better. And then when I play on a table, I feel like I'm just better at that. I don't like automating away those sort of interactions. It makes me think about them a bit more and teaches me to play the card. But you're totally right. You can click on a card and be like automatically like this. But I like asking. I apologize if it's frustrating to watch. What's it cost at Res Meridian? Is it 4? It's 3. Okay, they can Res Meridian. I'm still shocked from 2 consume Hishiko's Winning Worlds. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's super wild. So we want to draw into a Knob Kari, which is a 1 of. We also just want to trash cards, which is hard. Because that's the problem with Friday Chip is you can get locked out. Keep drawing. Yeah, we really need to draw into the 3rd imp, which is unlikely, or the 1 Knob Kari, which is kind of bad. And this is where we're struggling. And this is the sort of matchup where like Carnivore is actually really good because they can't purge out Carnivore. Not that Carnivore, I don't think we'll see play in the standard meta. Hippos, we're pretty good. I don't think we need to overclock anymore. What does Knob Kari do? Knob Kari says when you make a successful run first time a turn, you can put a virus counter on a virus. So you basically can always ensure the first run a turn you'll have an imp counter. It's really good. Overclock Jeeves? Yeah, we imped it. We could have. Boomer Hippo the Meridian? Yeah, I think that's the threat, is that we put down the Hippo to trash the Meridian to get a counter. And maybe that's why we should have kept Overclock. But I think if we put down the Hippo and threaten, we probably do that and run HQ. I just don't want to run HQ and get an access. Like, see, this is they're struggling to do anything at this point. And that's what I like. But we just need to make sure that we can trash things. And unfortunately, what does DJ Fenris give us? It makes the HQ runs more interesting. It can give us Steve. Steve can let us recur cards. It's kind of cool. Yo, Limes, how's it going? Yeah, Limes is in chat, by the way. This is probably Limes' sort of archetype deck modified. Yeah, it gives us Steve. I don't know how good Steve is, though. I don't think we want Steve. DJ Steve. What's Shaper give us? Shaper gives us... Jesminder's not a Gmod, no. Cabanessa to tutor the imp? You can't tutor viruses with Cabanessa. It's the one clause on her for probably good reasons. Yeah, you could woo, but woo we can pull out like breakers, and the only ice they have is Meridian. You actually... It doesn't really make sense to pull out anything else. Quetzal. Ooh, Quetzal's actually quite good. You're right. Quetzal is probably the right play by a big... Like, we do Quetzal and Hippo, and then we never install a paperclip. I like that a lot. I think that's good. So we'll throw out the Boomerang, assuming they don't have ice. Then we have 2 Hippos. That lines up well. The Liberate's probably a bit too slow. Can't do Infection. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's too good. Never mind. Shaper has Smoke. Smoke's okay. But again, this deck doesn't break a lot of stuff. We're hoping to just Hippo the ice and then deal with it. The deck probably has 3 ice. Ah, Quetzal would have been so good. So we could do Los. Los doesn't make sense. Archive Memories for a superconducting hub. Yeah, we just need to trash something. We need to faceplant HQ and hope that we find a game changer. I think that's the play. We'll draw once. Yeah, we'll just go HQ. We're hoping that we trash something, because I don't think they're going to install a lot of trashables with this shit here. But we need to put some pressure on. Oh, we should install the Hippo first. That's my bad. We definitely should install the Hippo first. That's on me. Oh, well, hey, never punished. Oh, but it doesn't give a counter this turn. Ah, fuck. It's okay. If they score out agendas, it's like a lot slower for them. So now that they have a fork between scoring and anything else. So we could do Hippo, but we've already trashed a card. You know, just let them gain 4 with Meridian. It's not gain 4, though. It's gain 4 and add this as a -1 agenda point, which we don't want to do at any cost when we can break this for 3 credits, let alone we only have to break it once. So if we DJ Fenris, we could become Steve. They'll never give us an imp. Wait, it's a let them gain 4 credits and end the run unless the run... Oh, never mind. I don't want to give them money, though. I really don't. Like, if they're scoring out a superconducting hub, it costs them 1 credit. Game Changer seems good with the new ID. It seems okay. The new ID, though, I don't think a lot of people are going to be running a lot of agendas. I feel like Sportsmetal is probably just better for the archetype. But yeah, no, I think you're right. It's not bad. All right, we'll draw. Rizeki Orb. Yeah, good enough. Don't feel great about it. Prognosticating Loup is probably worth playing, just because the deck list has it. And we don't need this. This looks like the deck on the page in RNDB. Oh, which deck? Oh, is a Rashida out there? Motherfucker. Game Changer removes itself from the game, so it can't be recurred. Yeah, that's a big thing. Game Changer does remove itself from the game. It's good if someone trashes it, so you can pull it back for a later date. But yeah, it once you use it, it's gone. So Superconducting Hub gives them a huge hand. Like, literally. So that's a problem for us. So I think we're going to do Hippo Prognostic Run HQ. You think it's featured? It's on the main page? The deck list of the week right now is the Lou we're playing. So this is really good for us. Dirty Laundry HQ, Die to Snare. We'll do Prognostic first. Look at the top 2 cards of stack. It's a paperclip into an I've Had Worse. So I wish we could shuffle. The I've Had Worse is okay, though. So we'll draw the paperclip at least. We'll break this. Remove, trash. Place a Virus Counter Friday chip. Oh, it's a card you were accessing. Whoa, excuse me. Luminal. Wow. So we'll imp that. So they probably have to purge here. So there's 3 agenda points in archives. This is looking okay. If we had the Knob Curie, we'd be golden. We'd be so good. We'll draw into I've Had Worse. Andre plays deck of the week. Yeah, we start every stream with the deck list of the week, barring some strange circumstances. So 7 cards in HQ again. They have 1 more Meridian probably in their list. We know we could run archives and get 3 points, which would put us on 3. So again, Vacheron's a real thing. If we hit a Vacheron, it's a really big deal. Sprint is going to draw them closer to the combo deck. The good thing now, because they're not purging, is we're going to have 2 imp counters, so we can run HQ twice and imp each time. We also can see what we're going to draw first. I don't think we're going to I've had worse before we run. I don't think there's anything we draw here. We've drawn 2 dirty laundries, all 3 dirty laundries, so there's nothing that really makes this HQ run better. So we want to trash Game Changers, Archive Memories, Fast Break if they have it. Obviously, the big 5-3 agenda is the real big thing. Don't you only get to move 1 counter from Friday? Oh my god. Yeah, Foley, you're right. We need another one. Ah, that's a bummer, man. Feels bad, man. What's the chance that we actually do DJ Fenris? Oh, and they also have a preemptive. Whoa. So not Spin Doctor, but preemptive. So now they can fix their agenda problems. So it looks like it's Luminal. They do have some face downs. Game Changer back into their deck. Yeah, Fridays only move 1 counter, so that's a problem. So if we install DJ Fenris, we can go for like 2 dirty laundries, which is kind of nice. I think that's really all we want though, is 2 dirty laundries. Nothing else is that great. Friday Chip is not unique. No, you can play a bunch of them. So I think we'll check server 13. We're more interested in that. Prognostic. It's an Obkari. Hell yeah. That is so good. That is going to do a lot of work for us. It's a CVS. Fine. Let's go. So this now gives us counters first time we run. So they can't really purge their way out of this. And then this imp will put counters on everything else. It's a stock buyback. We'll trash it because we haven't trashed anything. And it gets through a deck. We have another imp. Okay, things are looking, they're coming up a bit Millhouse now. Yeah, now the knob can give us 2, right? Because they'll give 1 imp with the Friday Chip, 1 imp here. We actually have a 3rd imp for what it's worth. We're making just 1 credit a turn with Rizeki, which is all we need to install things. It's our homemade Paladin Puemo. If they find another Meridian for HQ, we have the Hippo in hand. Like, we're in an okay spot as long as they suddenly can't combo out. But this is why making sure their credits is a really big deal, that they don't have really strong credits here. 3rd imp with your 2nd Friday Chip. It might be overkill, but yeah, maybe. When in doubt, just imp it out. This is like a very hard matchup if you don't have any ways to destroy agendas, because, yeah, you need to steal their agendas. They just put them on the table and say, you steal them or I score them, and generally they can win faster than you can get to 7. So another sprint, okay, they're controlling their hand, but they're not getting money. They have stock buyback, which could suddenly give them 5 credits at worst. We need to go check if this is a CVS first, I guess. But if there is a CVS here, I think we're okay. Prognostic. Black to Rizeki. Okay, don't want any of those. The Rizeki maybe. Put a fire scanner on the other imp. It's a Nico campaign. We're going to pay 2. Because now we can run HQ twice. We want to imp agendas. Anything else that we can trash, we'll just trash it using our own ways. Trash it. Superconducting hub, trash it. Trash it. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, consume that 6 credits. Yeah, consume is really good. It was a 2 of in Limes' deck. Just imp the entire deck. Honestly, you could. It's scary sometimes to go into archives because you have to watch it by the news team. So if you don't do your math perfectly correct, and also obviously there's a CVS in there. So we could run archives for 3 points. Great. Not good enough though. We need to find a Vacheron. 2 Vacherons, we generally win. Sports has 0 outs here. Yeah, Limes. We'd have to fuck up really bad. Like take tags and then get boomed. But it's 1 more Meridian and we break that for 3 credits and then it's gone. They have no walls protecting him. Did you destroy them or did they never place one? So this deck, if it's very similar to Limes, is world's winning deck list, mind you. It only has 3 pieces of ice. All of them are Meridian, and it's just 3. And that's the thing about this deck, is this deck can generally win matchups without having any ice. The ice helps against things like Stargate specifically, which are really strong. I don't think we have to do anything here but slam. We don't even need a second Friday chip. We could consider it. That's a Rizeki and Puemo. So we actually could pay 3 credits for the Rizeki, but we by no means need it. It's a Vacheron. Okay, that's huge. Because this, I'll show you this card. This card specifically says when you steal it, it doesn't count as agenda points until like 3 turns later, but it doesn't trigger from archives. And so right now, if we run archives, we get 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we find one more agenda, we win. It's a weird game in Netrunner. Yeah, that's the thing, is like a lot of people also don't know how to play against this matchup because it goes against some of the like, we win. It goes against some of the basic like fundamentals that Netrunner teaches you. So they have no way to shuffle archives. If we go archives, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Good game. And that's how you ensure that their Sportsmetal ability fires as little as possible. Hyperloop. Okay. GG. Good game. I wonder what they did to modernize the list, like whether they just changed superconducting hub for some of the stuff that rotated. I wonder if they can deck themselves here if they wanted to. They could draw 2, draw 2, draw 2, draw 2, draw 2. But yeah, it's a tricky matchup. If you have the tech to play against it, which is largely Imp, that's it. Isn't Team Spawn the big loss for this deck? No, not really. I don't even know if Limes' deck ran team sponsorship. Thanks for the game, eh? Stargate means the type of deck loses. Yeah, we were testing this deck. Julien, Metamate, who played at Worlds, we were testing this deck before Worlds, and our matchup was like Keiko with Stargate, and like it was just losing constantly against Keiko with Imp and Stargate. Stargate's a really big problem for the deck for sure. Losing Research Grant is actually substantial. Yeah, if Research Grant was in this deck, it definitely is a good card in the deck. So you'd run Superconducting Hub and then whatever 3-1 de jour you want. I don't know if there's any really good ones. You do get Luminal Transubstantiation, which is like, it's okay. It's not bad. But it's specifically not a combo card because it stops you from scoring out additional cards the same turn. Nico's new. Oh yeah, you're right. Nico's new, but I think they just replaced the Marylands with Nico's, and actually no, they had both. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. They did have more. Having an Imp early is big for this matchup. Oh my god, Solom, if you don't have Imp, you don't win this matchup. Oh my god. Good game. Oh, nice play. I missed your message there. What would some non-Anarch runners without access to virus cards trashed be able to do against a Skull of Corp? So it's actually very narrow. Limes probably can answer that a bit better. But right now you have Artist Colony, which lets you forfeit agendas. That's pretty good. But it's kind of a niche card. It got a lot worse in the game because its support cards rotated. Anything like Stargate, which is an Anarch card, that helps a lot. Embezzle and Criminal, things to disrupt cards in hand. It doesn't disrupt agendas, so it's not amazing, but you can kind of trash like Game Changer. It's very, very difficult. Data Dealer Foley rotated because it was in System Gateway. Lime says, mine had team sponsor, but it's not critical for it. It had fetch, trashed agendas out of archives. Okay, so it did have team sponsorship. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary. It's not like one of those team sponsorship Arella Salvatore decks that actually needed it to score 7 points. It was just kind of like a nice piece. Do you have a sideboard in this game, or would you need always to run Imp in your deck just to deal with this deck? No, there's no sideboard. There's literally no sideboard. So the matchup can be pretty difficult if you're not teched against it. That being said, like there are certain things like smart play that you can do against this, right? Like I think Imp is very ubiquitous right now. It's just a very good card. There is cards that helps you deal with scary agendas, and Imp, that was called what's it called? Film Critic. And it's been banned for a while now, and a lot of people started playing Imp, not only because it's a good card against assets, but it lets you deal with that and other stuff. So Imp is pretty ubiquitous in Anarch decks right now. Criminal's kind of hard. You can kind of keep their money down, but it's difficult. That being said, like this deck can still lose. If you get some early Vacherons off Centrals, like you can sometimes just win. Like 2 lucky Vacherons are good. Oh, Whistleblower is a card, yeah, I guess, but doesn't do anything. You have to call your shot. Yeah, Whistleblower is really, really hard to play, but it doesn't even work against Vacheron if I'm not mistaken. Do all decks run Imp? No. Some Shaper decks will run a single Imp and then just be able to recur it on will, but Criminal decks I've never really seen run Imp. Multi-access can allow you to dig out a win. Yeah, it's also worth noting like cards like Conduit, cards that can see a lot of cards unfettered. Like if it's not answered, they see 1 card on RD, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Sometimes you can just rush them out and win that way, but it's definitely dicey. I think if you Imp the Hyperloop instead of Hub turn 1, then it'd be a better situation. I don't know. Do you think? Oh, then you'd be in a better situation. Yeah, that makes sense. If you whiff the multi-X's, you get annihilated. Yeah, it can go really, 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 really poorly if you whiff it. Yeah. Losing the hub off the bat sucked. Yeah, hub is interesting in that deck. I think that's one of the few decks that actually can play super conducting hub and feel okay about it. You probably don't want multi-X's versus sports when you give them too much triggers. Well, I don't. It actually, it's like if you win, you're fine. Like if you get conduit, like they have to answer the conduit, and like CVS can be an issue, but otherwise, like they have to deal with this. And if they don't, sometimes you can close the game off. If you're just short a couple agenda points, maybe you can go tag me and dig deeper. Like sometimes. Are there a lot of weird decks like this, or did I just get lucky? That is a specifically unconventional deck. We're going to play another one right now, but that's kind of like why it did so well at Worlds, is because it is a deck that plays in a different way than what most people expect Netrunner. Most decks would be like, okay, I want to deal with assets quickly, or like I'm good at breaking ice, like the sort of things that the base game of Netrunner teaches you. But this one plays differently. It plays a totally different game of Netrunner. I think in Swiss, a lot of people will misplay against it in a tournament. But then at the top tables, when people see deck lists, they understand how to play against it. And even then, it's still quite difficult. But there's a fair few decks that play in ways that are not just ice agendas. And they're definitely fascinating. They're definitely fascinating, but I wouldn't say the majority, but it's really good that stuff exists. So it's not just like a build the best deck to break ice, right? Like that's really important for the game. Okay. I just want to do some news real quick. Then we'll play some other weird stuff. Yo, dude, 456 just started playing Netrunner. Wanted to shout out the start of your HB card review where you broke down what HB is all about. It was very helpful as a new player. That's really cool to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that. Again, that series we just started. And we're going to do it for every factions. We're going to try and do one a week. I think I can do one this weekend. And we're going to try and make it so it's good for people who are new to the game and people who have been playing for a while. I'm glad that part's been landing pretty well. That video's been doing pretty well. Hey, Andre's doing Talk Runner. Better than playing against IG Prison. Yeah, Jeff, IG Prison it was like a really weird deck that was not fun to play against. Man, Krim went from having Data Dealer to having No Wave dealing with Spawn Bow. Yeah, it's hard. Really keen to see the next instructional video. David, yeah, me too. I think we need to get replays. I'm spending time doing this like other stuff, like the review stuff, as opposed to the replay stuff. So I only have so much time to do, content and play Netrunner. So like it looks like we're not gonna have that stuff for a while. But again, if you're playing the game and you have replays, we can show you how the replay system works maybe a bit later today. But if you want to send your replays my way, like we did one of these replay videos before with some newer players. They very confidently send in their replays. But like we talk about it. It's not meant to shame anybody. It's just to help everyone learn the game and say like, okay, this is something you could do better. I think it's definitely useful. So if you want to send in some replays, throw them my way. Metropolgrid@gmail.com. Best agenda sack with ShadowNet for Infinite. Oh, ShadowNet was broken. Yo, card review is great. Zendorius. Yo, by the way, Zendorius. I brought your name up earlier because I know you sent an annotated replay to me. I checked out like half of it. I haven't gone through all of it, but it's like really awkward right now because it's like all rotated cards. So I don't know what I can do to write that because I know you put a lot of effort into it. So I think I'll watch it over and like send you an email back. I at least owe you that for sure. Thank you for that, by the way. I know that was a lot of work. Okay, let's just do some news real quick because there's some interesting things going on. Firstly, the comprehensive rules 1.5. There's two documents I'm waiting from Nisei, right? First is the comprehensive rules 1.5, which are going to be incredibly comprehensive, considering there's a fair few changes and they have to reword a whole bunch of cards due to changes in wording. Things like breach to replace the access step, things like root to replace in this server. There's going to be a lot of cards, so there's a lot of rule stuff, but there's some small rule stuff here that's fascinating. So in Netrunner, if you played a console, let's just open Carnivore so everyone's on the same page here. Consoles say limit one console per player. They're also unique cards, so that might seem a bit redundant, but the idea is you can only have one console at a time. Now, it's worth knowing if you do have a unique card, and I'll bring up one like this, which is a very common play. If you have a unique card like the Class Act, whenever you see the diamond, it means that this card is unique, and that means two things. Firstly, in terms of narrative, there's only one of these in the world of Netrunner, but second, for balance, you can only have one of these installed as a runner or rezzed as a corp at the same time. Now, for unique cards, you could actually, if you had a Class Act and you had another Class Act in your hand, you could install the second Class Act and just trash the first Class Act. And specifically for a card like Class Act, that's actually a good thing to do sometimes because it gives you this burst of draw. Probably the most popular example of that modernly is Boomerang. Sometimes you have a Boomerang that's on a piece of ice you don't care about, or sometimes that ice doesn't exist anymore, and you have this unique card clogging up your hardware. You can install another Boomerang from hand. As soon as you do that, you have to trash the existing Boomerang. It's worth noting, you can always over-install unique cards. Now, consoles didn't work that way. If you wanted to install a second carnivore, you couldn't. But on top of that, if you want to install a different console, like say it's halfway through the game and you're like, I don't have any more cards in hand, and you want to install a Keiko, you couldn't do that. Consoles, for some reason, worked a bit differently. And Nisei has decided to say, fuck that, which I think makes a lot of sense. You can now overinstall your console with another console. Doesn't have to be the same console, it can be a different console. And that's fascinating. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal in competitive Netrunner, whether people are going to build 2 console lists. I think there were certain consoles in the meta in which that would make sense. I'm looking at you. Maybe some decks would play like 2 or 3 Astrolabes. This is not a legal card, mind you, just to get a lot of card draw as the game starts and then eventually replace it with a better console. I think that's really cool. Maybe you could play Vigil to set up because it's a card draw card and it's cheap, and then eventually replace this with a better console in the late game. Maybe now a Ma makes sense because you can afford it, or Nopkari. I think that's really cool. So that's a new change. That's dope. It's also worth noting, and this is super niche, but anytime a card says like this, access trash 2 cards, uses ability once per turn, that ability is unique to the actual card itself. So the most often that this sometimes comes up is cards like Stargate that says you can only use this once per turn. You can actually trash your Stargate after you've used it to reinstall another Stargate either from hand or from the bin if you have something like a Simulchip to be able to Stargate twice in a turn. So in theory, you could do a wild double carnivore play where you install carnivore, run, trash something, install a second carnivore, run, trash something. Yeah, Duxing rejig too is a nice way of doing it. But that is just a new rule that Nisei's added out of nowhere, and it's super flexible and super fun and opens up deck building. I think that's great. So check that out. That's really cool. The Heartbeat meta. Yeah, Heartbeat technically is a really good example. And there was a Greg Crit HD, I think is the name. Gregory Tung, as a lot of people know him. He used to be one of the lead designers, or the lead designer in Nisei. Had this like ridiculous Shaper deck that played out of nowhere as an answer to a meta problem, played Heartbeat, the console from Apex, in their Shaper deck. And it's interesting, but also there might be consideration that maybe Greg would have played 2 consoles if this rule existed, because in some matchups, this Heartbeat's useless. Let me just catch up on chat. No worries, I can send you a new one. That'd be cool, Zendorius. There's a beginner new player gateway tournament going on right now. They pair newer players with mentors. I've annotated the games to provide some learning opportunities for my opponents after the match. I can share one of those if you like. Might be good as a teaching gateway. That sounds amazing, Zendorius. Does this mean that you could play multiple Forgers? Forger was the only console that wasn't unique, and that was mostly a flavor thing because specifically Forgers aren't unique. The idea is that there's only one carnivore in the world of Netrunner, and that's because it is Lou's console that he's probably made in a very like quintessential cyberpunk way. But Forgers are like a dime a dozen in the world of Netrunner. That being said, it's still one console per player, even though Forger technically wasn't unique. That was just a flavor thing, but I think it's neat. Yeah, shout out to Forger. Imp is a good example of that. Oh yeah, Imp technically is a good example of that. You could reinstall the Imp, but yeah, that's actually a quite good example of that. I need a rebirth for consoles. Heartbeat with crowdfunding was sick. Oh yeah, that was really cool, wasn't it? You think he did play 2 consoles? I don't remember the deck. Maybe he did. Too intricate for my small brain. Just hang in there. Ask questions if you need to. You'll get there. One of the best games I ever saw is an Apex winning after having to trash every installed card they had, leaving only Heartbeat on the board. And that's the right play. A lot of times if you don't want to die, that's the only thing you can do. Anyways, that's a cool change. Again, you'll see all this in the document. They changed Nave Mumbai City Grid so it only works on icebreakers, so you can click through Biroids. Cool. And now the timing of a run structure is a bit different. They talked about how they're going to add this breach step. I just want to highlight one thing real quick. Again, this seems really intimidating. Most of this doesn't matter, but and we talked about this before, and we talked about this in the HB review video. Monogram Skunk works. There's a lot of cards that say when the runner approaches the server, end the run unless they spend 2 clicks or 5 credits. Okay. It's worth noting that approach, the last time you can res this card, and I don't think this works like this right now in Jinteki, is after they pass the last ice. So once a runner has passed the last piece of ice as a corp, you can then res Managarm. You don't need to res it when they're encountering the last ice. You do have a window after the last ice. And the next important thing is as soon as the runner approaches the server and is now interacting with these abilities, there's no other paid abilities you can do. So you can't out of nowhere Nisei Mark II them or border control them so they pay 5 and then you say, fuck you, end the run. You can't do that. And that's really important. Interestingly enough, Kayambe Grid, and I shouted this out in the HB thing, didn't work like that. And this card is banned. I wonder if they're going to go back and change Kayambe Grid or make this legalized now if it works on a different timing structure, because the timing structure of approach server is a bit different. Also, I think Forma Carry still exists to fuck all of this shit up. Ban this card. So yeah, anyways, that's a thing. That's interesting. So now you know a bit better how breach works. I think that's all the Nisei rules that I think we care about talking about. More of this stuff will come up. The console rule offers one more choice for people to make, which is cool. Yeah, it's neat. I'm a big fan of it. Can't wait for Andre to play Hive Mind. We're like 5 minutes away from there. Do you think we'll be able to rotate data in Destiny because we lose Adam, Apex, and Sunny? Jingless, I think there's a lot of reasons why they would consider rotating data in Destiny. I think big parts of it are the strength of a single tag. It looks like Nisei is kind of pulled back on what a single tag means. Actually, that's not true because I'm thinking of exchange of information, which is not even in data in Destiny. But so far, Nisei hasn't supported the mini factions. It's kind of difficult for them to support the mini factions because then it requires people to get products that they can't produce, right? Like the idea is that you can play startup and it's like a whole meta, like startup is everything Nisei's printed and it's like a very complete and very cool format. I'm a big fan of it. But then it's really hard when suddenly like their new pack has a card for something that people don't exist. I'd kind of be surprised if they continue to support the mini factions, which is a bummer. There's a chance they could make their own mini factions. There's a chance that they could continue the mini factions, but then print their own runners, like have somebody else in the Apex mini faction or somebody else working for Sunny's security company. I forget the name. Can you print the game? The cards? You can. Yeah, you can. You can proxy. You can print on proxy Nexus, but it's just not as approachable as like make playing cards or the print and play documents from Nisei. So, Global Sec. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly it. How did the Kayambe Formicary combo work? It was an obnoxious. It worked in the worst way possible for the runner. So Kayambe, they approached the server. They paid like 8 credits, and then Formicary would then fire, and then they would have to deal with the Formicary, and then they'd approach the server again. So it made Kayambe trigger twice. I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore, whether they're going to do with Formicary, because in theory, Formicary does make you approach the server twice. So it does fire things like Monogarm twice, or Anoetic Voice twice, which sounds like a nightmare. Totally legal for tournament play. Yeah, it's worth noting that if you want to play an organized play in person, proxies are totally legal. So you can print your stuff manually and then show up to tournament and you can play. It's totally cool. I think, I don't know what the Nisei rules are. There's some expectation that the proxies are like legible, that people can look at it and tell what card it is. You can't just like scribble the words on well, you could write the words on a card, but I mean like you can't just write Formicary diagonally across a post-it note and call it a day, right? Like I think you'd have to do a bit better. Make an Eve for Adam? Oh, they already had an Eve. It's confusing now. Anoetic Void twice doesn't matter because the corp ends a run. Oh, you're true. It doesn't. It technically doesn't. Managarm's a bit better of an example. I could see them making some neutral cards into mini faction cards with low influence cost. Yeah, that'd be cool. Could ban Formicary instead of Kayambe. I'm more on board with that. Formicary is just a nightmare for timing. And it's not particularly a card that's played outside of any of this like really awful stuff. I made a top 4 regional with black and white printer paper cards. Good enough. And everyone else spend money on the game and you fucking made them look so stupid. That sounds facetious. I think it's funny, but it's good to support Nisei at least. I rant about this on JNet when I don't understand why Formicary, which basically just duplicates on approach upgrades, wants to somehow treat as the devil while hard ETR abilities have been fine. Well, because it's not about the power of Formicary, it's more about how this thing is really awkward as a rules thing, right? Like I've no doubt Jaco, whatever, has to like slam their head on against a table in a way to make this like make sense. Because it's worth knowing that Nisei is doing a really different job than FFG was. FFG had a lot of rulings that were just based off of Twitter rulings, or rulings that just said like, I'm aware that this doesn't line up with the fundamental rules of the game, but this is the way it works. Like there was a bunch of good examples where FFG, and I'm not saying this is awful, but Nisei is going in a different direction where their ruling is airtight. And I think a lot of people appreciate that, especially for like competitive organized play at the highest caliber of play. So I think Formicary represents a problem to that stuff. And this probably will have an interrupt symbol and something else on it. I don't know. Yo, Lamilla, how's it going? Code Replicator needs more love? Yo, Code Replicator is a cool card. It was really good with, what's it called? An Offer You Can't Refuse. Unfortunately, that rotated, so I'm not playing this one anymore. Sounds like you approach once and just swap walls. I don't understand. Why does Formicary make you approach the server twice? Because Formicary says you do approach. So, okay, anytime that you have multiple triggers on the same trigger. So this, when the runner approaches a server, you may res Formicary, and if you so, they encounter it. Okay, so that is a trigger that fires when the runner approaches the server. Now look at a card like Monogarm that also fires when a runner approaches the server. So in theory, whenever you have multiple triggers on your turn, you can choose the order that those triggers fire as long as they have the same triggered ability. So as a corp, you'd say, okay, they both say when the runner approaches a server. So do Monogarm first, they pay 5, and then do Formicary. And now the runner is approaching Formicary, which means that they're actually encountering ice. And then once they pass Formicary, then they're approaching the server once again. So Monogarm can trigger again. That's the short of it. 2 triggers at the same time. And then once they're triggering Forma Carry, they're no longer approaching the server because they're dealing with ice. You approach the server once you've passed all the ice. So you get through all the ice and approach the server. Yeah, Kirk said that quite good right there. Oh, and yeah, Moo, you read that. Okay, so maybe that was for no point. Shout out to Jade, by the way. They're incredible. Who's Jade? I don't know Jade. It's going Lamau. I just woke up. Yo, good morning or good evening. Okay. Other news stuff. Rule stuff is credible. I remember hand drawing a proxy for Game of Thrones LCG. I needed a 3rd copy of Khal Drogo for testing something. Do it up. We're gonna play this deck in like 2 minutes. We just have a couple news to go over, but check this stuff out. There was a competitive tournament called the Early Bird Tournament, and it was run by Ysengrin. Ysengrin you can find on YouTube as Ysengrin SC. This channel started uploading videos really recently, but 11 subscribers makes no sense. This is a video, and there's some quality parts. Jade is Jakodrak. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, sick. Okay, excuse me if I like dead name somebody or somebody. That's dope. They've classically been doing a fantastic job. So this is a video in which they go through this deck that the German players that are generally in a group, a testing group called New World Order, played at this tournament. A lot of people played this deck. It's such an interesting deck, and we'll be talking about it in a second because we'll be playing it, but they played it and it did really well at the tournament. And then this video is just 2 really top tier players jamming the game with open hands with a bit of commentator from other people watching, right? They explain what they do, they explain the matchups, and within an hour and 46, they play like 7 to 8 games. If you want to watch like competitive players talk about how to pilot a very interesting deck and talk about the matchup and see how they deal with things, this is really cool. This is really, really cool. I do want to say really quickly in terms of like making content, and I'm just going to at Ysengrin here. I think there's a lot of things you can do if you want to stream, and maybe we need to make a guide of this at some point. But if you want to stream and make content, I think there's a lot of things you can do to make your content a lot more approachable. I think as a start, zooming in on JNet is like a really big deal. So normally when we play JNet, I hold control on the mouse wheel up and zoom in just so the cards are not as small. Like you can make them a bunch bigger. That's a really good start. Another thing, if you're doing content, I really recommend going into the settings tab, and they recently added, shout out to the JNet team, keep zoomed in cards on screen. This is really important. If you keep this highlighted, that means when somebody highlights over a card here, it'll retain itself in the corner, in the top right corner, until you highlight over another card. And that's a bummer because if you're a newer player, they almost never highlight over anything too. So maybe that's a different problem that no one's highlighting over something. But yeah, anyways, do check this out. And on top of that, it's not just this video, which is sick. And I have no doubt the production's going to get better. I don't mind adding Ysengrin. There's also the tournament here. I think it was also streamed on Twitch at twitch.tv/YsengrinSC. What was the channel's name? Here, I'm just going to ugly link grower. I'll just put it into the chat. So it should be on both sides there. They already have 25 subs. Hell yeah, you're doing the right stuff. This is gonna be really good. And Ysengrin hasn't committed to doing more content here, but it's a really good video. I'm a big fan of this sort of thing. I was fascinated by this. You can watch it at 2 times speed if you want as well. By the way, loved your HB review vid. I'm happy to see the rest of them. Yo, Lamilla, cheers. There's gonna be a lot more for sure. They go by Jack online. Their name is just Jade. Oh, sick. Okay, cool. Feels good. We try not to fuck that up as much as possible. I do think it's a cool design space though. It's like stealth upgrade for the server that has the downside being unresable ice on a different server. Yeah, Roketha, I hear you. I think that is totally cool. The movable ice that shows up out of nowhere, I think is rad. It just unfortunately, like if that ice said something different, like when the runner passes the last ice, do that, then it's no longer a rules nightmare. Is there anybody you'd recommend for similar ride-along videos in startup format? Alex, I don't know anybody who's specifically making startup content. There's a lot of people that do content in specific metas. I think, and I might be wrong, I know Spray Bizzle is streaming, and Spray Bizzle is doing things in Netrunner. They're playing, or no, I think they're doing the big boy. There's also Mike Schickle, something like this, who started putting out content. I think I'm spelling this wrong. Shit. I think it's Mike. There's a guy named Mike who started putting out videos maybe last week, in which he goes through all the cards in startup and doing some reviews about them. He says that like he's a newer player, and for what it's worth, I feel like some of his analysis, like I don't totally agree with, but he's like well spoken and goes through everything. And if you just want more content, I think that's really great, especially because he just started the channel, which is fantastic. No highlights. It's going to be a whole lot of Googling cards. Yeah, if you're a new player, you're going to be admittedly Googling a shit ton of cards, and there's no way around that, unfortunately. But if you watch the stream, at least, if you go watch the stream, it's commentated by Ysengrin and I think Neuropanzer, and they're quite good together. I still think they have the same issues where they don't highlight cards enough, but they at least explain like what the runners and the corpse are doing. So it's a lot easier to ride along with this maybe if you don't know all the cards. That's not what I said. I said it's cool that it works like a hidden upgrade on the server. It's fairly worthless as an ice. Costs like 1 or 2 credits. I see what you mean. I think I like more the idea that suddenly something moves out of nowhere, but I see what you mean as an upgrade. It reminds me, like the stream. How's it going, Random Dog? Cough 30 subs. That's nice. I hope I didn't shit on Mike. Mike's videos are actually pretty entertaining. He's done like, I think the HP and the techie stuff. That's really good. And also last stuff before content, ShadowNet is a Canadian Netrunner stream that's put together by Phil here. You might know as Zeroth Maxima, and then Eric, who's Whiteblade, who's like the multi-champion of many Netrunner formats. I joined in for one of their streams. Or one of their podcasts. We recorded this last week. It came out, I think, earlier last week. And we talk about Gateway, and Eric is grumpy about stuff, and it's a good time. Their podcast is really fun. And I was like super stoked to be a part of it because I've been listening. I think I've heard every single episode. They're really nice dudes. There's an early bird startup tournament that Yusengren's holding this weekend. Ooh. Yusengren's doing a lot of organizing. I had a deck that did dumb stuff with Formicary and Blue Sun. Yeah, Blue Sun's where it showed up a lot. Likely be streamed, I think, for those looking for startup content. Okay, sick. So if you're not familiar, alwaysberunning.net is a really great place where people put tournaments. Yusengren also, it's worth noting, for those who played Netrunner, Yusengren's tournament was single-sided Swiss, which is so fascinating to do because they run like 7 rounds within like 5 hours. It's like wildly different than what you might be used to. So that's really cool. Spray, what format do you stream in? Last I saw you were doing big boy stuff, right? Am I mistaken? No, maybe I'm thinking Rask. I think Rask was doing big boy. I think Spray, you're doing Netrunner, right? Likely it'll be streamed. Excuse me, I think I read that. Okay, that's the news. It looks like it's probably this Open Gateway tournament. I can't tell. Maybe not. How are there so many Netrunner streamers? There's a lot of people like this game. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have a directory. If you go on Twitch, you can search by Netrunner and you see other people that stream for Netrunner. There's a lot of places to go. NearEarthHub.net has a nice, I don't know how often it's updated, but they have a nice section for content creators. So you can see like streams, YouTube channels, stuff like that. There's way more than this for what it's worth. And a lot of these people like are amazing but don't make content anymore. Like Bayokin was amazing. They just haven't made content in a really long time, or at least Netrunner content. I don't think it's the same for Neo Red and Grid. San Francisco still streams. Peachhack just recently uploaded some old King of Server stuff, which is really cool. And then I'm not too familiar with some other ones. Trace 5 also. I don't think they make Netrunner content. Draft random stuff. Oh, it's Draft. Yeah, I think I've seen Netrunner on your stream. Anyways, I'm like really stoked that there's more Netrunner content. I think it's really important. The more people playing this game, giving like people watching and enjoying this game, it's really important. There's like a bunch of other streamers that I don't know the names to shout out, but there's this one dude who was also streaming recently that also streams like Warship games. I saw on Twitch that was streaming. Okay, let's talk about one of the coolest decks I've ever seen. This will probably be the deck list of the week next week, but oh my god, I am excited to be terrible at this deck. All right, so what's the most meme card? This is not a meme card. This is like the quintessential, I think they call it Timmy Tammy. I think it's what it's called. These sort of cards in Magic or whatever. They're the sort of cards that like are so fascinating and they just really ask you to build around them, but competitively have really never showed up. And this is Hive Mind, which is an incredible card. It's a 5 influence card, which there's not many of those in the game. And it says place 1 virus counter on Hive Mind when it's installed. And then virus counters on Hive Mind are considered to be hosted on all other virus programs for the purpose of card effects. So the idea is if you have Hive Mind with 5 virus counters on it, every single virus you install is considered to have 5 virus counters on it on top of whatever virus counters they have on it. Okay? And let's see how this all works together in such a cool deck. And again, if you watch Yusengren's YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it. So how many viruses can you play? But I was trying to do it in Shaper. Oh, good luck. This is the deck that I immediately wanted to build and noticed how crazy Hive Mind and Cookbook. Yeah, there's so many good things here. Okay, so let's talk about what makes this deck sing. Firstly, we start with the identity. This is Max. And Max has been pretty interesting and competitive for a long time now. Max right now is a bit of a problem. Classically, back in the day, there used to be a card you could play in Max decks or in any deck that said, shuffle your heap back into your stack. And that was a really big deal because eventually Max pretty quickly gets to the end of her deck and then GG. But without that card now for a couple of years, people are still playing Max and basically getting to the end of their deck. And at that point, making sure that they can just recur the most important cards and are winning before that. And this does a bit of both of them. So this is why we're playing Max. The biggest reason why we're playing Max, and this looks scary to a lot of newer players maybe, trash 2 cards your stack, draw 1. But a lot of the time, that's like having 3 card draw a turn. And it's not exactly 3 card draw, but it's important to know that the cards in your heap, that these 2 cards they trash every turn, you can play those cards. There's a lot of ways to play these cards. Firstly, you have these heap breakers. So the ideas of a Black Orchestra, Paperclip, or an MK Ultra going to the bin, you have access to them. That's really good. And on top of that, this deck has 3 Simulchip, which means that they can pull anything from the heap. So the heap is like this incredibly big hand you have that slowly draws 2 cards a turn over and over again. It is incredibly powerful. And now let's play a bunch of viruses and have this huge toolbox, which is your entire heap, and you're able to pull from them whatever you want at instant speed. And that's the biggest deal here, at instant speed. Oh, Duck is saying for your information, Runner doesn't lose from decking, but Corp does. Yeah, that's very important. That's very much worth noting. You don't lose if you can't draw cards. Steven already psyched to see where this is going. Oh man, this is straight up the coolest deck I've seen in a really long time. Okay, so again, we're going to be playing our Hive Mind, and we're going to have everything hopefully coming in with 4 or 5 virus counters. So what can we do? Well, firstly, Botulus. Botulus comes in. Oh, no, let's start here, actually. It's important to know that we're going to have Cookbook. And Cookbook says whenever we install a virus, it gets another virus counter on it. So not only the everything that we install, everything we Simulchip, those will all have 2 virus counters on it, plus the 2+ virus counters that are going to be on our Hive Mind. On top of that, we have Knob Curie. So every time we make a successful run, we put a virus counter on the Hive Mind, which is like putting a virus counter on every single virus we have installed. Okay, so let's start with Amakua. If you have 5 on your Hive Mind and 2 on your Amakua, you have a 7 strength Amakua. Okay, great. Brig Macrophage for 3 credits. This Amakua gets incredible. On top of that, you have Botulus, one of the most powerful cards that just recently came out. And this thing will, with Cookbook, install with 2 virus counters. That gets you through 90% of the ice in the game. And then if you are really in a panic, you can use the virus counters off of Hive Mind because they're considered to be on the Botulus. So now we're breaking ice for free. It's important to know we have Simulchips, so we can install the Botulus once we hit an ice. So they res an ice and we think, okay, we don't want to face check this, we want to break this. You install your Botulus for free with Simulchip, and you break for free. You have a Chisel. You have a lot of 1-ofs in this deck, and that's because they're going to be in your heap. And again, imagine this like a giant toolbox that you have access to with your Simulchips. So sometimes you'll just chisel something. You find an ice that's 1 strength, 0 strength at the early game. And in the late game, you can immediately chisel things that are like 5, 6 strength because, again, you have your Hive Mind. This chisel will come with 2 counters plus 4 on the Hive Mind. Boom, it's dead. On top of that, you have Fermenter. An economy card that gets so much better with the support of not only Cookbook, which makes us way faster, but say that there's 4 counters on your Hive Mind, you install your Fermenter, you can pop it immediately, and you'll get 10 credits. 12 credits, right? Because it counts for all the virus counters on the Hive Mind, but you don't have to use them. They still stay there when you trash this. So this you can pop suddenly for like 10, 12 credits. And on top of that, now you trash something this turn, so it's a free Simulchip. Okay, let's keep going. We have Imp. We've seen how strong Imp is today. You can have an infinite Imp. The Imp will have as many tokens as on the Hive Mind if you really want to use them. But with Knob Curie, you can basically ensure every turn you're imping something. Then you have a Progenitor. This is an important part. It means that if they end up purging, not only does your Hive Mind not take in any MU, but if they purge, your Hive Mind will always have a single counter on it, which is really important because it's very flexible. That's considered to be on every virus. And then finally, you have 2 interesting things. You have Tranquilizer, which is fascinating because if you are able to install this at instant speed, if you get 2 on the Tranquilizer on the install because of the Cookbook and 1 virus counter, at least because of the Hive Mind, this thing can instantly de-res. At the window, the Corp reses it on approach and you de-res it and the Corp can't re-res it that run. Now, Tranquilizer isn't perfect. I've seen games in that tournament where people run back, or in that YouTube video where they run the server for a second time that turn and then you choose to res even though you think is going to be de-res next turn. But it's really good. And this makes resing things like an Anansi impossible in the matchup because you can't afford to res 8 and then have the ice suddenly be de-resed. It's just not going to be good. And then finally, you win with Conduit. And this can happen out of nowhere. Like, think about this, right? You install Conduit, it has 2 virus counters, you run R&D, you see 2 cards, then 3 cards, then 4 cards, then 5 cards. Out of nowhere, this deck can Simulchip to instantly trash ice. It can also break ice for free.
and say that you have been building up a hive mind for a couple turns with 3-4 counters on it, and now you say, fuck it, I'm going to win now. So you Simulchip in your conduit, which is obviously in the heap because you've gone through your whole deck with Max. The conduit comes with 2 counters. You run R&D, you see 6 cards. Run again, 8 cards with Knob Curry, then 9, then 10. You win. So this deck, what it tries to do, and again, if you watch the video on Yusengrin where Pincel, one of the best Netrunner players, tells you how to pilot this deck, a lot of the times you run really aggressively just to slow the corp down while you build this like ridiculous combo. And at that point, they're fucked because you can threaten runs on R&D for 7 cards, 8 cards, 9 cards. You can trash everything. You can de-res their strongest ice. You can trash their ice, and it's absolutely wild. It is so wild, and it's difficult to play, I reckon, which is why I'm very interested to play it publicly and lose horribly with it, because this deck does have a really high skill cap, which is my favorite combination. Strong deck, high skill cap. I think that's cool because then you can see it. Like there's so many forks in this. When you play, like, okay, what do I do now? Do I Simulchip this in? Do I botulus this thing? Or do I chisel it? Do I tranquilize it? Do I just go for my Amakua? Like there's so much player expression in this that watching, like that's why that YouTube video is such a big deal. Watching it is so, so good. Let me just catch up on chat and my voice. And before someone cues into you with 3 arc lockdown, best defense, macro, and magnet. Yeah, and like this deck seems really powerful. And you see it stomps over the sort of like Glacier Polana decks that you might have expected in the meta. But there are some really strong cards to deal with it. Like one of the worst face checks by a mile is Hagen. And you saw so many matchups against the really fast HB precision design decks. If you run into this, it's awful because trash one program that trashes your hive mind, and then you're really far behind because simulchipping in your hive mind is like, it uses a lot of your resources. So hive mind is really good. If you want to continue playing cards like that, like Magnet is technically pretty good in the right circumstance because it can eat up botuluses. They just trash them and reinstall them, but it can be annoying and good. Best defense is really good. It's not really good. It's okay because it can trash anything on a progenitor and a progenitor, but I don't see what deck would play this and feel good about it. So yeah. Does it not only de-res at the beginning of the turn? No. Tranquilizer checks not only beginning of turn, but also when you install. So if you can install it with 3 counters on it, which, you know, with the Hive Mind, you generally can. We have Maxwell James at home. Everyone answered that. Conduit Hive Mind, yeah, it's wild. Wonder if Chisel can fit here? Yeah, it does. It has 1 Chisel. It does. It's a really interesting card. How do you think this game holds up against Sandbox and Cyberdecks and all? It's honestly not that bad. And you see some matchups in which the Corp does purge, but it doesn't help that much because it's important to remember, right? Like they have Knob Curie, so you're always going to get a counter back. You're right, though, running archives, risking a CVS, blowouts on CVS are possible, but also blowouts with CVS are not entirely possible. And it's for a couple reasons. Firstly, what's it called? Progenitor ensures that the card on it gets purged, always going to have a virus counter on it. So basically your Hive Mind will never be reset back to 0, which is a nice start. Also, you have Knob Curie, so every time you run, you can put a virus counter on Hive Mind. You also have Cookbook, though, so when you install a virus, it gets 2 counters on it, which is really important, because sometimes you just Simulchip back in your Hive Mind if you really want to. But the best thing is, even if they purge, if you have Simulchip, you can react to the purge. So you run into an ice, they purge your Botulus, you just Simulchip, reinstall Botulus, it has 2 counters because of Cookbook, 1 because of the Hive Mind. Like, purging is definitely okay, but it's by no means going to win you the game. So this is kind of my thing, and I was already super excited about what Gateway brought a Flame Out Woo deck. Yeah, right? My reason for playing Trank and Hive Mind, Cookbook, and Shaper was because Trank is crazy with test run and compile, by the way. Oh yeah, I believe it. Does this program wording on Trank does mean it doesn't see Hive Mind? No, because Hive Mind specifically says it's considered to be on every other virus. Like Hive Mind solves that. Progenitor isn't unique. Oh no, Ludmilla. Yo, get 3 of them. Get the full art from the old champ packs. It's lovely. This is such nice art. Who is this? Hannah Christensen? Fuck yeah. Couldn't be nice to slot in a couple of Acacias, but what do you cut? I don't think you slot in Acacia at all because Acacia is not great. Acacia is just not, like when you have Fermenter, there's no reason to have Acacia because Fermenter, you control when you fire it. You get a lot of money off of it. Doesn't depend on the core purging. It's not unique. Acacia might be unique, but most importantly, it is a program that you're excited to trash at speed to make sure that you can install with Simulchip cheaply. This deck runs on pretty low money because it needs pretty low money. And again, they pop 1 or 2 fermenters for 12 credits. You're good. You don't need Acacia. Breaking ice for free is so tempting. It feels good. Feels good. I'm so excited to play terribly with this. And what was also really interesting is that in that Ysengrin video, Pincel was playing different versions of this deck. They played versions that cut like these 3 breakers and instead played 3 copies of Wildcat Strike, which is interesting just for a bit more burst money. Because again, if you don't have the Fermenter combo up, the money can be pretty tight. It's interesting. Seeing the instant 12 credit fermenters was, yeah, it was wild. There was a play, and I'm not sure if it's in the stream or if it's in the video, where Wildcat Strike is played, and then Lost Geek, I think it was Lost Geek, I think it was in the replay, says like, fuck it, you have like 1 credit, what are you going to do? I'm going to let you draw 4. And again, letting them draw 4 is a bad thing. They just installed Fermenter, popped gain 12, install Fermented, pop gain 12, because they drew 2 Fermenters off draw 4. There's Labor Rights as well. Yeah, Labor Rights is actually a very important card. And if you listen to Pincel, one of the most important things in the deck is to track what the Labor Rights are. Because what the thing is in this deck is you wait till you get to the end of your deck, and generally you Labor Rights back into your deck. So it's 2 Simulchips and 2 Simulchips and another Labor Rights. And those 2 Simulchips go incredibly far. And then you play your next Labor Rights to do 2 Simulchips and a Labor Rights, and so on and so on. At that point of the deck, you want to make sure you don't mill them with Max, but hopefully while you're at the last bottom of your deck, you rebirth into an ID that is more relevant. I think Pincel ended up a -1 Blorch, -1 Knobcree, +2 Wildcat. Oh, cool. Nave Mumbai City Grid might hose this deck though. It could. At that point, you probably have to, like, if they res a Navi, you probably have to go for Chisel or Tranquilizer because you can't use Botulus. But the deck does have real breakers. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you can tech against this deck to help you with it. But it's really cool that this deck stomps the Glacier decks that thought it'd be good. And the only things that can beat with it, and they're interesting matchups, are the HB decks, but they have to draw really good. They have to draw really good. Wait, I don't need to do this. I can just do this. I'm so excited to play this terribly because I am. Oh man. I'm talking too much. My voice is actually going. Okay. The setup seems pretty long. It's actually not that bad, right? Because on its own, all those cards are good, right? All those cards are good on their own. You're right, it's a bunch of installs. A lot of installs can be clickless with Simulchip, but all the cards on their own are not bad. So like you don't need everything for it to be good. And like I can promise you the deck is good. Based off of the fact that it did really well at a pretty competitive tournament. Obviously, it's early in the meta. The meta hasn't settled by any means, and it won't for a while. But a big thing is when you watch Pincel play, a lot of times he was just running. Be like, oh, Ren HQ, there is a Gatekeeper. Okay, cool. Run R&D. They can res a Hagen at this point, like it doesn't matter. They'll res something. And you need to slow the corp down, because you're right, it might take you a while to set up. How would it fare against a PE deck with all the card trashing? PE would be... I assume a bit rough, right? Like at that point, you basically would go into the Knobcree Imp combo and try and imp everything and not steal agendas. That was probably would be your game plan because it's hard to win off a Simulchip. But that's a really thing. At the end of the deck, this card has no deck. So like 3-4 net damage can be lethal. So it's probably a rough matchup. But again, that's what they called the meta to be, not that. And they were correct. It's a sexy looking deck. It's so cool. It is so cool. It is like this really interesting toolbox combo deck, and it's incredibly powerful. And again, I think it's actually quite tricky to play, which is why I really appreciated the video that came up. Yeah. It's also really cool to watch Ysengrin and Neuropanzer like trying to like commentate over the game and be like, wait, that's a Hive Mind? Wait, what the fuck is happening? Because nobody expected it. I was trying to make it work in Woo because she can get set up faster and recur more compile. Can't pull viruses with Woo, but can compile to pull SMC for them and can pull Progenitor with Rejig. Thanks, you too. All right, Arizon is probably playing some pretty good stuff. I don't know what's a good opening hand. I reckon Knobcree isn't it. We have 3 Cookbook. We can't afford the early Earthrise, and we don't need the Progenitor. I'm going to mulligan this. Yeah, it's probably a bit better. What's the video called? Winnegon here. I think I can link it here, but it's on Ysengrin's YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you search... YSENGRNSC. This was also, mind you, on Reddit. This is the channel, and the videos here, IPT, Pincel, Lost Geek, demonstrate Hive Mind Max. So I'm going to just copy that into the Twitch chat one more time. Okay, early Spin Doctor. Did they mulligan? They mulligan. Okay, that looks like a bad start for them. All right, so we lost an Imp and a Paperclip. Paperclip's really good because now as long as we have money, we can deal with the Hagen, and we need to slow them down. I think we want to check what server 2 is. So I'm going to do Sure Gamble. We'll run server 2. If we don't end up spending money for some reason, we'll do Daily Cast Earthrise. It's probably a Nico or Maryland. It's a Jeeves. Oh, fuck. We can't afford that. We really can't afford a Jeeves right now. This is 4, 5, 6, 7. Puts us down at 2. We'll be at 4 credits next turn. That's probably good enough. Yeah, no problem, Winnigan. I don't know what they do with the Jeeves here. It makes it really easy for them to purge. So they can do purge and something. And it's a double install too, which is really good for Asa. So this Jeeves might be a problem. I don't know whether we should trash it or not. Again, I think you need to play a bunch with this deck to figure it out. I might embarrass myself. So they did triple click because Jeeves lets you do 3 the same thing. And then they do a single fully op, which is pretty awkward. And they discarded a card. So we could consider running archives. But again, we have a lot of setup to do. So the order here doesn't matter because we don't know the cards. It's worth noting that you can trigger Earthrise before max if you have like labor rights, the bottom 2 cards of your deck or whatever. So the order doesn't matter here. We're just trying to do something smart. We lost a Chisel and a Gamble. The Chisel is a 1 of. We have no viruses to install. If we dirty laundry this, we don't have the money. I think we're going to actually dirty laundry HQ because they fully opt and they drew. But they did discard. I don't know if there's going to be an agenda in here. Probably actually want an Anoetic Void. Yeah, fuck that. Okay. So we have 2 Simulchip, which is really good because we can, in theory, Simulchip Imp, but we have to trash a program, which is a bit of a bummer. So we want to install 1 card here and throw out the MK Ultra so we can deal with Drafter. So I'm actually going to run Archives, see if they pop the Spin Doctor. It also let us see if there's a CVS in there early. So they're going to pop it. So in theory, we could run R&D and see a new card. They did 2 unseen cards, so it looks like those are agendas. So we could go R&D and there's 2 more agendas in the deck, but I think we're just going to set up again because we do have a lot of work to do. Additional progenitors are good to sack. It is, but like installing this just to be able to Simulchip in a breaker seems bad. Like I feel like we just want to wait until we're actually doing something smart, like with Fermenter or what have you. Because like installing this, installing that, and then run, like it's 2 clicks and we have to trash one of our programs. Jesus. Additional progenitors are good to sack. Yo, Pincel, what's up? Okay, never mind. I just talked that shit. Pincel says it's good. You can get the Imp and kill Jeeves with it. You honestly do that for 2 clicks? Because now we really want to trash the Jeeves so they can't score a 4-2 at. That's very true. The order here, again, it's kind of random. Okay. If you can get the Imp and kill the Jeeves. Okay, so thinking here. So maybe we do Progenitor Simulchip run. We can also do the cookbook first to get another Imp counter, which is, you know, nice. But I don't know if we have the clicks to afford here. All right. Pincel, huge shout outs on doing that video for the Asynchronous channel. That's a huge help for a lot of people. It's a pretty fascinating deck. I kind of wanted to poke this too, right? Like if we have nothing installed, the Hagen isn't particularly compelling. What am I doing? Imp. So we've already imped here. We could threaten Spin Doctor. They'd probably make us pay 2 for it. There's 2 more servers. We didn't even see that. I haven't played Netrunner since like 2014, but I got super back into it over the course of the last couple of weeks thanks largely to your vids and streams. Clockwork, that's so cool to hear. It's a really good time to be back in Netrunner. Glad you can make it back. So I don't know what the shit is, right? Like Maryland, maybe team sponsorship isn't a thing. It could be backup Jeeves. And if they score a Sandbox, we're in a bad spot, but like we can't use this counter anyways. I feel like playing the gamble's a bit too slow considering we don't even need the money. Let's just play Cookbook, I guess. Now that we played the Cookbook is obviously wrong. Oh, fuck Rashida. That we should have done the Cookbook first. A new Imp art is great. It's quite nice. So triple advance, if that's a Vitruvius. Oh, it's a Luminal. Really good for them. They can purge here if they wanted to, but at least that wasn't like, I thought maybe it would be a Vitruvius and we deny the Jeeves, so they deny another advancement. They didn't res server 5, so I don't know what it is. Whether it's the 3rd dock doesn't seem that likely. It could be a CVS that they're waiting on. They're holding on to. Connecting with it would be okay if we do it now. Luminal, Asa Double Ice. They could do install into, if they have another fully, they played the first one. Yeah, there you go, fully operational. Shit. 11 credits. That's the problem with Asa, huh? Seems like it's kind of good. Okay, we do have a Hive Mind, so we can do Progenitor Hive Mind. And Hagen, though, like if we want to break a Hagen, it's 4 + 4. So we need to be running with 8 credits or access to a cookbooked Botulus, which we would need to install with Simulchip. So the money is a bit relevant. Oh, fuck. I see a lot of new Netrunner content. What is going on with this game exactly? Yo, you, how's it going? Nisei has put out System Gateway just last week, which is basically an introduction to the game. So for a newer player to the game, it's the one thing to pick up to not only learn the game, but have a really good experience at learning the game. And it's really good. That's mostly why a lot of people are back into it, because an entry point is really important for this game, and it was very hard. I mean, people just play stuff on empty servers is crazy to me. Oh, of course, a lot of decks do, because like it takes clicks for us to check these things and trash them. And look how much stuff they're forcing us to check this turn, let alone do with their ice. Like it forces us to do a lot, let alone specifically this card is incredibly powerful with that sort of combination. Oh, I'm scared. I am scared of the Hagen. What else like is a problem here? Gatekeeper is like mediocre. Fairchild 3 we'd have to run soon. Some decks are running on sell. I don't know if we can let them have another agenda here. I'm imagining it's Jeeves into an agenda. Ace is overrated. Sometimes it is. I seriously don't fucking know what to do. I'm just gonna set up. This is probably wrong. We have it. So now everything has virus counters. You need to find the Imp and Jeeves, but no Botulus. Yeah, we don't have a Botulus. I think we can consider putting down the Fermenter, because the Fermenter we actually can pop for a lot of money, and then we can do the Simulchip, but we probably wait for the next turn to do it. So I think here we do like, I kind of want to throw out the Black Orchestra. Not that we're ever going to break a Gatekeeper with Black Orchestra the first time it reses. So I think we want to do, they might perch here though, like if it's a CVS or a Sandbox, excuse me. So I don't want to put the Fermenter down now. I think we'll do draw. Rebirth is interesting. We always can rebirth into Quetzal in a panic if we have to deal with Hagens. We'll just install that. Again, as soon as we have access to Conduit, like we could start slamming with Conduit right now. It's an eco campaign, that's fine. Another Rashida though. Oh, that is interesting. So that's what that was on the table. Man, that's so brave, and I think I was right. Are there any good resources for learning how to use Jinteki? Exit? I don't know, honestly. I think the easiest thing is to join the green level clearance Discord channel and just say new to Jinteki, and people will like take the time to physically teach you. That looks like Anoetic Void and Managarm. I think that's the best way. I honestly don't know if there's good resources otherwise. So if we ever hit a Conduit, we could just trade off of R&D and try and close the game off, because Anoetic Managarm, it's really hard for us to contest that. Rebirth for Freedom seems value. Rebirth from Freedom is way worse than Max for a long time, because we have to draw a shit ton of cards. Clown card remote. Red level clearance? Ooh, last click. Ah, they saw our Conduit play from a mile away. Damn it. If they didn't do that, Conduit, it's really strong if we like draw it in these 3 cards. This is what I'm talking about. Trashing cards is so good when you have access to them, right? How do I join the Discord? Can someone kindly throw a link into the chat? Somebody always has it on hand. I never have it on hand. Yeah, the Discord also has like a mentor system that just like pings anybody, which is really nice. I'll do this. Okay. All right. I think we start slamming stuff here. Yeah, we've Imp. We probably should go HQ. Can we afford this? Yeah, we can. Thank you, Giles. Oh, the GLC link is on Near Thub. I had no idea. So now we can put a virus counter or something. So we put it on the Hive Mind. A virus counter. Oh, we imp that. Oh, they have a fucking Spin Doctor. Oh, no. So that's the problem with the Spin Doctor, is now if they run archives, they trash it. So we might have actually wanted to run the Spin Doctor before doing this, but obviously we play against Spin Doctor a lot. So we figured this thing out. I'm worried that's a purge play. It could just be seamless into advance for a 5-3 if they have a Vacheron in hand. We don't need the cookbook here. I think we just install this and hope it doesn't get purged out, but that seems unlikely. I think they green level clearance Discord, right? I heard someone's working on a learning JNet resource. That'd be dope. Uh-oh, Biotic. So it looks like they're gonna score a Vacheron out here. Oh, food. Whoa. So they're on game point, and with Biotics in their deck, they can score out from deck. Now we can pop this for 6 times C to 12 credit pop. It's incredible. We don't have access to our Conduit yet, 1 in 9. They can probably res whatever ice is here. Our Amakua comes in with a lot of counters though. It comes in with 5 counters, so we can break just about everything. So we're gonna just start slamming and hope they don't have Biotic. 12 credit for 1 click. 12 credit for 1. Yeah, but it's 2 clicks. It's 2 clicks. It's 2 clicks. It does turn on our Simulchip though, which is like, I think the most interesting. Oh, it's only 4. Excuse me. I thought it would be 2 because of cookbook, but it doesn't get 1 on its own. So we access, this is, mind you, Amakua. So we're trying not to hit a CVS. It's a gatekeeper. We don't imp that. We're going to try and imp a biotic labor. No, if we don't trash, we get Amakua counters. So basically, if we top deck a conduit, we have a chance here. It's a really small chance because they're going really fast. But imagine any deck that doesn't go this fast. And there's a lot of decks that don't. The Spin Doctor card reminds me of Jackson Howard, one of the only cards. Yeah, no, this is almost a direct reprint of Jackson Howard. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it looks like there's a CVS in there. Yeah, this is a very close reprinting of Jackson Howard. So now they can't even trigger Anoetic Void. So they're assuming that this is going to be a problem because of CVS. We have access to a Botulus, which comes in with 2 counters. So Monogarm we can pay. Assuming the 6 isn't another Jackson. It could be. But this looks like it's Anoetic, which they can't trigger because they don't have 2 cards. Managarm and CVS. That's my guess. So I don't know whether we can charge this or not. Right? Because we have a 7 strength Amakua. So that deals with everything, Macrophage included. It deals with Gatekeeper, it deals with Hagen, with Drafter, with Fairchild 3. If they res the CVS, they're going to spend a fair bit of money. We also don't have any, labor rights, which is going to be a bigger problem if we don't draw the last labor rights. Like we might consider putting down the Earth rights just to ensure that we get the labor rights. But I think we run this. The problem is like how bad's the blowout? I think it's not that bad because we have access to a breaker for Hagen if we really need to. I think we install the Fermenter first though, just so that we have access to the Simulchip. I'm going to do that. I'm going to action here. Yeah, we do got to charge it for sure. Yo, Dan, how's it going? You posted on Facebook some tokens. Is there a link for that? Yeah, there it is, a CVS. Okay, so we are blown out there. Because I want to show those off. There's some really cool. Okay, so they hit the CVS here. So now if we run, we can still trash the Fermenter. We can bring in a Botulus with 3 counters. I think we still run because then we can deal with Managarm. There's a small chance the right plays to rebirth into a Quetzal first, but we'll still go for it. Okay, that's a Gatekeeper. So we will. It comes in at 6 strength for the first turn. So Black Orchestra is installed for 3, break for a bunch. They're brand new, so I don't have a storefront. Oh shit, that's a bummer. 3rd spin and 6 turns Void on. Oh, that's a good point. You're right. I see what you mean. Yeah, they could res that for the Anoetic. Yeah, that's interesting. It's unlikely though, but it's interesting. I don't know whether they'd finish that thing. So we're just gonna we'll install that. We'll install Botulus. If we had another Simulchip, we could keep Botulus thing down the line. We also can't let this fire. Maybe they were hoping for this to fire, but this has 2 counters on it. In theory, a 3rd because of Hive Mind. So we're gonna break. Break. And now hopefully the next thing here is a Hagen. Hell, even it could be a Gatekeeper would be fine. Not Gatekeeper, Drafter. Oh, it's another Spin Doctor. It's another Spin Doctor. They fucking have another Spin Doctor there. Oh my god, that is so absurd. That's neat. So you're right. It was another Spin Doctor, so they can suddenly draw 2. And so now the Managarm would have to be us paying 2 clicks or 5 credits, and then they would have to pay 2 and end the run. Which means if we pay 5 credits and end the run, we can't. We actually could still go back though here, because they can only fire this once. So we'd have to pay 5, come back, pay 5, and we can just break one gatekeeper trigger. We can still do this. It's going to cost us everything. Spin me right around. Yeah, we can still get through here, and we have to. So what can we do here? Rebirth doesn't do anything. We can basically do Sure Gamble. Oh no, but if we like Gatekeeper Fire the draw 3, oh no, then they obviously Anoetic Void us again. So no, that doesn't work. Ah, shit. So this thing comes in with 3 counters. We get the D-res though, right? So we can install the Tranquilizer. It'll D-res the ice. I wish we could do it clicklessly. So then they wouldn't have enough to score. So I think that's our best play we have, because it's the only way that we don't lose here. Oh, wow. JNet breaks. So that should D-res. Because this technically has 3 virus counters on it, right? Now you're 2 poor? Oh, fuck off. You're right. Yeah. I realize I'm a credit short, though. Yeah, we're 1 credit short. You're totally right. Yeah, that was not correct. If we had 1 more credit, we could delay ourselves losing for 1 more turn. Just stim back in, right? Do you know what's stupid? The right play was run HQ. Because if we run HQ, we would have got a Knob Kari counter on the Hive Mind or the Botchas, and we could have come back. Yeah, we just run HQ and we can get a counter. Very kind. Rebirth and Alice doesn't do anything if we lose here. Yeah, this is the only play. It also gives us an Amaku counter for what it's worth. And again, we can't let them draw because then they have cards for Anoetic Void, which is a really cute combination. Okay. In theory, they could res a Hagen here. That'd be bad. Fuck! Oh no! So Hagen for us is 4 to install, 4 to break. Oh man, we're getting so blown out. Sort of. All you. So this is a reason why you'd rebirth into Quetzal, but still the first separate team would fire, which is a bummer. So we're going to lose our Hive Mind. It's okay. If you run HQ after getting purged, you can get them into remote by chiseling the gatekeeper, bringing down ID low enough to be broken by turtle. Yeah, that's the really cool play line we have. Unfortunately, we only have 1 more Simulchip and chisels in the bin, but the run HQ to get counters on the Hive Mind is such a big deal. So what are they going to do here? They just click for 3. So we still need to figure out how to get into here. We do have the conduit. They have 3 credits. Now, if we install the conduit, it gets a virus counter on it. So we can see like maybe 4 cards and hopefully win in 4 cards, which seems really unlikely because we know they're on Vacheron. So what we could do, and the problem is like we still have to run the server twice. So we could force them to spend 2 and buy ourselves another turn, which is like not a winning strat by any extent. We'd have to run the server twice. So if we like rebirth into Quetzal, that doesn't do it. So if we want to break this twice, we just can't. I don't think we can. It's Quetzal the strat. Quetzal's like the only strat that does this, but like I still think it's a losing play. We also lost our last Laborites, so like this is an unfortunate matchup where we get to the end of their deck and there's nothing we can do. Like we're not going to recur anything because 3 Laborites are in the bin and we can't recur those. So we have to win with what we have. So barring this being a gatekeeper or a drafter even, we could always just like slam the conduit and try and win off of R&D. Again, Vacheron's going to be a huge issue. But the issue here is like we can get through the gatekeeper. The draw 3 cards technically doesn't matter because they can only fire the Anoetic Void once anyways because of the credits. So we'd have to break this twice. So we could break it once with Botulus, break it another time by running HQ. So that's fine. But then we have to also break this twice and also each time have 5 credits or 10 cards. Like we can't do it. So we just have to go for the conduit play. I don't think there's any other play we have here. Yeah, I don't think there's any other play. In theory, if you're really scared about drafter, we could like spend a click to rebirth into Reyna. But basically what I'm saying is we're going to lose. But this is like really good. Tranquilizer is only on start a turn or on install. So yeah, it's not going to work here. Could we get this up to 5? No, it's impossible. Hedge Fund, sick. Managarm Skunkworks, sick. We'll trash that just so we can see more cards. So we have to see like some magic here. Hedge fund, Managarm, nope. Magnet, nope. Sandbox, okay. All right, this last run we're gonna see a real 3-pointer. They're gonna have a vulnerability audit and then a Vitruvius. It's gonna be sick. Damn it! Fuck. Good game. Run archives? There's no point. They have a spin doctor. There's no way we get anything on archives besides purging ourselves. The food and real 3-pointer combo? Yeah, no, every once in a while. Hey, thanks for the game. Yeah, spin doctor play on server 7 was amazing. And like you see these sort of decks, and these are the sort of decks that you saw that this deck does classically struggle with. The decks that can go that fast, right? Like this is super fast. This is turn 9, and we are a combo deck. And maybe I needed to run a bit more aggressively just to slow them down. Because you see, they did end up winning with 0 credits. It was exactly credit perfect. Even one challenge on this remote would have been worth it because it would have slowed them down unless they had seamless launch. So we could have considered maybe contesting it once. Yeah, I even got tossed the Genesis from H King in the bin with Void. Imping with Spin Doctor feels so bad. Should have just stolen it, of course. Yeah, we didn't steal 5-3, we imped it, and we should have just taken it. Like, that was so stupid. This corporate deck is confusing my brain. This is actually pretty straightforward for what it's worth. It can rush out, has defensive upgrades. It has some of the best ice, especially early ice. That's really good on the first face check. And then, because it can double install for a single click, you can get a lot of value with fully operational, which is one of the strongest cards in the game. Losing all 3 abilities to max trigger was rough. Yeah, I don't have 2 more turns in me. The CVS purging everything was so important. If they didn't get that CVS 2 on that server 1, like we had lines, but that CVS cleared like, 14 credits worth of counters. Definitely hurts to have a fresh gatekeeper on the turn when you need to stop the most. And that's like a really good point, like why face checking to early gatekeepers is really important. Like it might feel bad to draw 3, especially when they look flooded, but like it's so important to have this as 0 strength because then Amakua deals with it. Or even if you need to Black Orchestra, like forcing them to res this early is really important for you. Hey. Better, I'm not gonna say better luck you get. Was a conduit in hand? Nope. Bottom 6. Would have tilted on you a lot sooner. I got up to make breakfast and discovered my cards came in today. Yo, sick. Lamilla, what'd you get? NBC or drive-through? That's amazing. I'm like going to check the mailbox even when nobody rings. That's just my lifestyle now. That's just what we do. And it was a drafter, and that was another Hagen. So they were 1 credit short. So that's good. Figured I had to rush out at least 5 points before you. Yeah. I think that's right. GG's. It's the game. All right, let's get some more games in with this. Drive-through? Hell yeah. I think drive-through might be a bit faster, especially for the States. This is the thing that you need to run twice and spin doctors. All right, let's get some more in. This deck is fascinating. I think it's so cool. And like this is the sort of thing that's like it's wild. It's like a pile of it's my favorite kind of card deck because it's like a pile of these like really strange cards that on their own don't seem amazing, and then together build something perfectly. Like there's just so much synergy between so many of the pieces. Like the build your toolbox as your heap, the access to a bunch of answers, and I think there's also a lot of flexibility and a lot of like testing. Like you can put Claw in the deck if you really need to, and it's probably pretty good. Yo, Yasengrin, did you enjoy Pincel's? Did enjoy. I enjoyed too, and I've been recommending it on the channel. I think you got a lot more subscribers now on YouTube. I hope more people watch it because you need to keep doing that sort of stuff. That's really good. Also, Yasengrin, I said this a bit earlier on the stream, but if you want to like, there's some things you can do to make your streams and your YouTube videos a bit more watchable about zooming in and about like having that button that shows cards on screen so they're permanently there. I think everyone will appreciate that if you hit those buttons and zoom in a bit. But I'm a big fan. For me, I know the card, so it's not a big deal. But I want to get as many people as can. Also, your commentary Panther was really fun. Hey. All right, Paul on a food. So this, in theory, is the sort of matchup that we're meant to be favored in because it's really hard for them to res 8 strength ice when we de-res it immediately. Opening hand doesn't seem great. So I'll go back and check that out. Yeah. In short, zooming in is really important. And if you go to settings, there's the, what's it called? Keep zoomed cards on screen button. It's really important. All right, hedge fund. They're going to get credits just about all the time because we're going to be drawing a heck of a lot. I don't know whether I've had worse. I like keeping this for face checks because of some of the spiky ice, but we do need a draw here. I just feel like if we do this, I don't know what we can afford. We'll find out. So we want to throw these two out. So we can just do credit gamble casts. And then we can deal with border control. As someone who's getting to Netrunner, both of those things are a godsend. Oh, they're such a big deal. JNet, unfortunately, is like a really, it's not a client. Like it's hard to make this game as big as possible. All right, unadvanced card in server 1. Do we face check it? We have a cookbook, which is really nice. I think we do face check it. If it is, we have 3 cookbook. I think we just install Simulchip and face check it. I think that's the most important card we have here. Show me a diviner. Thanks for the compliment. It's going to be hosting another tournament this weekend. Hopefully things will be better technically and with the flow overall. I was bummed out because I didn't know you were streaming the early bird tournament. I need to follow you on Twitch, obviously, but I didn't realize it was then, even though I think you shouted it out. That is a terrible res for them. We can spend 4 credits to get through this. They spend 5. They can fire that. The tags, probably don't want them. It's cheaper to do that than clear. All right, that's a bit expensive. We're going to trash a Rashida here. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Money's not amazing. Another I've had worse in hand is okay, but we did slow them down. They just paid 5, we paid 4. And I think we just click for a credit here because I want to throw the MK Ultra in the bin so we can break this for 3. Oh, I goofed that up. Nobody answered me before. What makes a tournament early bird? I think it's just the name of the tournament because it's early in the meta. I don't think it's actually like a different format because of the name. I think it's just like the tournament's name. That being said, it was single-sided Swiss though, which is pretty fascinating. Can be cheeky and kill it with Chisel and Cookbook next turn? Oh yeah, I think you're right, Pincel. I think that's quite a nice play. So Cookbook makes this come in with oh, next turn. I see what you mean. Yeah. I like that. I do like that a lot. But we're a bit too late on it. So this forces them to ice it up again, which will be 4 strength. But what does this say? When you encounter host ice, if its strength is 0 less, trash it. Otherwise, place 1 virus counter on it. So it's a bit too late right now. Yeah, we'd have to face check it once here. So we'd have to basically pay 2 credits. They probably boost into it. Yeah, fuck it. This seems fun. We do love naming things for no reason in our community. You need names. That's how you advertise it. So we don't want to go through this. Oh, now we fucked it up though because they can ice me. Oh, no, I goofed this up. You're right because they have to ice twice. This is a waste. They just install an ice over it. I'm playing. That's a really bad play. Yeah, you have to run twice. Yeah, I'm totally wrong about this. Right? Because this is not, I thought this would just trash itself like Parasite, but it's only when you encounter the ice. So if they put another piece of ice here, like we wasted so much effort. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, maybe they have no ice. Celebrity gift. Anansi, shit. I think I might have misplayed that. Oh, that's really bad. Okay. All right, so we get this to 4 counters eventually. That is a horrible mistake. All right, well, we got to get up. We got to get out of here. Dirty Laundry Archives isn't amazing. Our fermenter comes down. It's okay if it comes down here. We need money. I keep drawing, but then Dirty Laundry is bad there. Yeah, I'm playing this really poorly. That's fine. We thought we would. Just magically draw Hive Mind? Yeah. It's 2 and 20. We have a conduit in the bin. So we always can if they overextend. We know this is a Nancy. I didn't pay enough attention to what was in their hand because I was tilting. So it's a DRM, which is Jammy, Obakata, and a Thimble Rig, So this is Thimble Rig and Nancy, right? And now they're DRMing for an agenda. It's specifically a Cyberdeck Sandbox, which is obviously a problem. So the question is, what can we do about that? We do have a labor rights, which is really important. If they end up spending 2 for a Thimble Rig, that's pretty good. If they spend an 8 for a Nancy, now this is a strength 4 at this point, so it's still really awkward if we want to Black Orchestra it. It's exactly awkward. Thank you so much for your streams. Excited to see the full video when it's uploaded. Yo, miniature. Glad you're liking it. I think we have to let this go. Obviously, it purges everything, so we're like really interested in popping our fermenter here. Oh man, this is a train wreck. That's so bad. Okay, let's not tilt. We can figure this out. So I think we just set up still. I think we have to let them have the sandbox. That also is a problem because it means they're a macrophage deck. So we need to pop the fermenter. Then we need to put down, we probably want to put down the Earthrise. I don't think we need to put down the Nopkuri at this point. We still have a lot of work to do. This doesn't matter. We could put this down as well. So we definitely want to pop this before they get the free purge. Maybe hit R&D or HQ and fork them. We could. The problem is like it's not big a fork when they only need 3 credits to score this out, and when scoring it gives them 4 credits. So it's really hard to fork an agenda that gives them money, let alone they have 13. If they were on 3 credits, yes. Can kill the Thimble with Chisel if you want to, but setting that up seems okay. Yeah, it's not worth it generally because we deal with the Thimble rig for 1 credit once we get our Amakua down, which I think eventually we need to in this matchup. So I'm not that excited to chisel that. I'll draw once, I guess. Rebirth, always we can panic into Omar. Oh, we'll put this down, whatever. Oh yeah, we fucked that up so bad. It's okay. We're learning. I don't think I played Chisel outside of Devil Charm, which instantly does things. What does forking them mean? So fork is a term that's generally come from chess. And the idea is that you put pressure in 2 different remotes or 2 different ways, right? So the idea is if they want to keep money to protect the server and to be able to keep ice, to score an agenda, then we could put a pressure card, something that sees a lot of cards on R&D, for instance. And now they're like, oh, I can only spend money resing ice on R&D or the remote. So the idea, it's like a fork. You're attacking in 2 different spots, like stabbing something with a fork. And generally, a lot of people can only defend on 1. It's really important in Netrunner to do that. It lowers survey strength. Yeah, it does. No, it's true, it does. But I think eventually we just botch the surveyors. Okay, 8 credits. I think we start face checking. There's no more Kamainu, so having a hand like this isn't the worst. We do know that there's an Obakata in hand. Omar time? Nah, we still have to draw a lot of cards. I don't think we're going to Omar right now because we haven't even seen a Hive Mind yet. Oh, we have seen one actually. I wonder if we Simulchip for the Hive Mind. We have to Simulchip for the Amakua in this matchup, I'm pretty sure. Absolute disrespect for the Brainstorm Smash? Always. Never respecting that. Okay. Gotta make them do something, I guess. You can do next turn install the fermenter now. Oh, that's fine. Is this a virus? No, it's not even. So this is fine. They're removing the virus from the heap is actually pretty impactful. The purge here doesn't matter, besides obviously they get 4 credits, so keeping their credits down doesn't matter. I'm playing this terribly. Trace 3 if successful trash from virus, so they have to trash the chisel. That's fine. It's not doing anything. And then it actually puts in the heap, which is good for us. With the Earthrise drawing, it should be good now. Yeah, we get 4 more cards. Trace 2, honestly, this one's actually kind of interesting because they could remove the Amakua or the Conduit, and both of those would be a problem for us. So I think we're going to pay 2 here. And the last one here is Trace 1 End the Run. We'll pay 1. Oh, I didn't even install the Imp. I guess it would have been purged anyways. We'll seal an Obakata here. Rashida, okay. So they have the Obakata. So I think we install the fermenter. You install it on the progenitor so it can get purged out. Not feeling good about this. I need to watch more Sangren, huh? Getting a cycle progenitor down is also kind of interesting because it stops the purge blowout in some way. We have a lot of cards in hand. I guess we'll do it. It's by no means necessary. You could have done that in a different order. We have the Imp. I imagine they can jam the Obakata here. We know that their hand should now be, it's like an Obakata, 2 other cards, which we probably should have known if we paid attention. So next turn we can click this for 6, which is nice. And it turns on Simulchip. I think we just want to draw a bit. I think you need to let them score another general establishing board. I think that's right. And we have 2 labor rights though, which is pretty good for us. We'll get rid of this. We have a second Nopkuri, but it's not a card we can recur. I think it's the Imp we don't want. The Tranquilizer is really important once we get up our Hive Mind. The Hive Mind is free right now because you lost Chisel. Oh, fuck. I think you're right. I think we pop it. Yeah, hold on. Ah, shit. Yeah, I think you're right because we did use the Chisel. We lost the Chisel. We should have popped the Simulchip. So we could have... Actually, do you mind? No, we'll fix this. We need to fix this. We're way too far behind. So we're going to use this trash the program to install. I'm just going to hit close prompt on that. Gonna do this on my turn. So I shouldn't need to trash. I'll just fix this manually. It's going to be a nightmare to trash. To fix. We'll do this. Place a virus counter. So now they might actually want to purge. And I'll just do this. I'll click, install this. Then host. Sick. Okay, that's a really big deal, right? Anytime you lose a program, it's worth considering whether you want to use the Simulchip because the Simulchip had a real cost associated with it. If we didn't do that now, we could have just like waited and done it next turn because we're going to probably pop the Fermenter because our credits aren't amazing. They might consider purging here for 4. I'd imagine that's actually favors us because again, that only removes 1 virus counter because Progenitor gets a counter at the start and the Progenitors, because Fermenter gets a counter at the start of the turn and the Progenitors prevent 1 of the virus counters. It always will get purged down to only 1, not to 0. So the purge in theory removes 1, actually more like 2 counters because the Fermenter would get 1 anyways, but it wouldn't look too different than this and they would trade their whole turn for 4 credits, which I think they should just jam out here while they can. Okay, install, hopefully advance is an Obokata. If that's not an Obokata, if it's a Nisei, yee. That's really bad for us. Order here doesn't matter. It's random. Okay, so we have 3 Botulists all in the bin. We have another Simulchip that's really good for us, especially if we purge right here, or not purge, if we use the Fermenter, which will be 10 credits. Purge is technically an 8 credit swing. Well, yeah, for them getting money, you're right. But for disrupting our board state, it's not as impactful as it looks because of the Progenitor was my point. I think we have to just start smashing. So we'll pop this. So now the Simulchip is live. The question is like, I don't know what the threat is here. Like we can pull out a big old Botulus. The problem is this Simulchip is also like our access to our win condition, which is probably Conduit. Running here is an issue because we need like 3 Botuluses. Ah, fuck. Maybe we didn't pop it that turn. Maybe we could have cruised for another turn. Because I don't know whether we're going to use the Simulchip aggressively. You also kind of want to throw your Tranquilizer out because it only checks on install. So having it in the archive sometimes is a bit better, or the heap, excuse me. You're at the bottom of your deck with Rebirth Labor, you can win cons back. Yeah, no, we definitely need to. The problem is I don't want to eat the bottom 3 right here. The Simulchip is fun there because you can install Trank on the Surveyor and use the Simulchip to move it to the Nancy. Oh, fuck. Do we want to steal an Obokata here with 2 Laborites in hand, though? Like Pincel, do we trade? Because the Obokata is going to hit probably 2 Laborites. But yeah, that's where the plays here get really impressive. Because you can... Wait, what? Simulchip... So I need to destroy this to Simulchip it. Or you can install it and then reinstall with Simulchip. You can Trank the Survey and then force them to spend tempo. We could. I just don't want to score the Obokata because I think we need to keep our Laborites to be able to win. Like maybe we just tunnel R&D. Trank Surveyor, then Laundry R&D. Fuck. You're right, Trank Surveyor is good because it just de-reses it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that sounds okay. So that should de-res. Build up Hive Mind and other things you can do. Yeah, I'm thinking the other play, like I probably would have done is Knob Curie and then just like Dirty Laundry Archives to build up the Hive Mind. I kind of like that better because I don't know if we're ever going to run this remote. Now I don't like the Dirty Laundry. Now I'd rather gamble so that next turn we can do Knob Curie. But it's a bummer because we didn't Simulchip. You can also run into Force and Nancy Res and then install the Imp to trash Oboe if they don't res it. Jesus, what am I doing playing this deck? I'm not going to figure this out. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. Earthrise, I guess. Okay, so we're at the end of the deck. So, and this is the point where like installing an Earthrise in theory and then doing like a bunch of Laborites is really good. Also, we can do Laborites into I've had worse to draw everything. So this requires like a shit ton of consideration what to do. So I think we're going to slime R&D here. I think we can do Knob Curie, Dirty Laundry Archives, Labor Rights. I've had worse. Do we need the rebirth if we labor? No. You don't need it. Because I'm gonna I've had worse everything. So we get to shuffle 3 cards back. This is labor rights. So we want Simulchip. We want Simulchip. Arguably we want Conduit, but I think we want the last labor rights. Save the labor rights. We have another one. One hotel gives you all the cards from 3 labor rights by using hotel before max. Yes. No. Oh, because labor rights draws one. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot the labor rights draws a card. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, the Earthrise was way better there. If we install the Earthrise, we get all the credits because the idea is they both start a turn triggers. I forgot that labor rights drew a card. I thought it was just shuffle 3 back in, trash 3. Yeah, the idea is that Earthrise Hotel also triggers the beginning of turn, so you can ensure that you draw everything. So the Earthrise there was way better because now it's gonna be actually pretty awkward. We might want to rebirth. I don't know. All right, looks like a CVS and R&D. Oh Jesus, what do you do about that? How do you play around CVS? We gotta go trash it, right? Do we just rebirth into Omar? Is rebirth being saved for something specific? Yeah, at this point Omar, just to clear this shit out. Yeah, I think we just rebirth Omar. Fuck it. This is Omar. We're gonna run R&D. Yeah, rebirth Omar is great to kill upgrades. Yeah, that's our plan here. So we're gonna get this purge. They'll get 4 credits, but then we can start rebuilding. Preemptive, okay. Wait, what? That didn't let me access upgrades. With Progenitor, Cookbook Trank is still instant D-res, even after a purge? Yes, sort of, no. Okay. That's a bug, okay. Did I fuck it up? Did I not click? Oh, I'm a stupid, yeah. My B. Okay, it's in CVS, so obviously that gets purged. Crisium Grid, that stops unsuccessful runs, so that actually stops us gaining counters on Nabkuri, but also that was on me. That was on me. Okay, so now they have a reason to do archives. So I guess we labor rights. No, we actually probably don't. Shit. No, because we want to do our Simulchips first. But then we have to trash something. So I think we end up trashing a progenitor to pull out an... I have no idea what I'm doing. This is way too hard. To be able to do this, learn this at the same time, and then interact with chat. I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you need to gain a click? I don't think so. Because we did rebirth run. No, I think I incremented our clicks. Yeah, I did. Because I don't want to do this, because you want to do this for the Simulchips. So I think we Simulchip for the thing that gives us money. Now Obicat gets really difficult. Like we have to imp Obicat. Okay, let's go. Oh boy. Yeah, the Earthrise would have been so good here. I really goofed that up. There's a couple goofs we clearly did in this game. But now we have access to the Conduit threat. We can bring in an Amakua, but Conduit doesn't work with Omar for what it's worth. You can always run R&D to get counters, but you can't see things. So they're going to go ahead and shuffle them back. And they're actually shuffling the CVS back in, which means that if we can deal with the Archives Ice cheaply, we can actually build counters. Our money isn't great. Think about how much we've learned from this game. No, we've learned so much, and that's why I'm so excited about this. Like, this deck has a really high skill cap. In terms of, like, the tricks it can do, it's, like, Shaper-esque, but in a more aggressive way, which is really fun. So if I pop this, that's 8 credits. And that brings our Simulchips online. And then anything we install will come in with 3 counters. So I think at that point, we just start smashing R&D. Let's go. We data snare. What else is new? That's an Anansi. So we actually can derez it. We can get a tranquilizer on it to force the derez. I think that's the right play here. So we'll not do it on encounter. We'll do it before on approach. I can trash this, right? Wait, no, how does it work? No, I'd have to actually use both of these. So I'd have to install something. So we'll install the conduit and then we'll install something else. Or the imp. We could do the imp too. Yeah, we'll do the imp. You can't move trank? Yeah, we can move trank. But we'd have to install 2 things. So it's either the imp or the conduit. I like the conduit a bit better, I think. Nah, fuck it. We need the imp for Obokata. No, I think that's good. Place a virus counter on it. And then when we install a card, we can trash a card. A program, mind you. And then we can put that on that. And because we're doing this on approach, we haven't encountered it. So that should immediately derez and they can't res it. You already trashed? No. Yeah, we did already trash, but we have to trash this. And we put this on here. It's a Nisei. Okay, that's a good start. So now the problem is if we run, isn't there an MK in the bin? There is an MK in the bin, but to install and break, it's like 12 credits. Not only can we not afford that, we don't want to afford that. So now like we have to like run and face check into this. You use the MK trigger to trash the trank. Oh, that's true. That is a possibility. That would have been interesting. We could have done that. We could consider doing that. But that would be on encounter, and then we didn't break all the subroutines. So actually, because of derezes, I don't think the text is still active. I honestly don't know. Labor for fermenter. We labor for 3. I don't think we need the fermenter as much as we need the Simulchips. But we need the Simulchips. And I'm just worried about a purge. Yeah, it's no longer res, so the text shouldn't be relevant, right? I think we just do 3 Simulchips. I don't think we need the fermenter. Oh, maybe it's 2 and a fermenter. Maybe you're right, because we need something to trash. Yeah, that sounds right. We probably draw 1. Okay. So now there's a really big fork here. We don't have access to our conduit, but we did get points, which is nice. The problem is like stealing Nobukata is going to be so much work for us. They could have just re-res the Nancy and forced you to spend 11 M Gaucho. You have to de-res and counter like Maxwell James to prevent re-res. Oh, maybe you're right, Rikatha. On approach, can they just re-res? Oh, fuck. Wait, really? Because Maxwell you could do on encounter. So no, we just fucked the timing up. I should have just installed on encounter, not during approach. So that's on me. I just did it at the wrong window. If I did it at the right window, I wouldn't got hit by a Nancy and they can't re-res. If I did on approach, they could consider to re-res if they wanted to spend the money twice. Yeah, that's correct. So I just have to wait for encounter. The reason I didn't is because I'm scared and I think that it'll, what's it called? It will hit me, but because it de-reses, it doesn't. Okay, so Hansei review, they did throw out a card. It could be a CVS, which is an issue, but I imagine they would just install the CVS. So we have to do a couple things here. If we bring in a Namakua, it'll come in at 4 strength. I really don't know what to do here. This is so tricky because we're like really dependent on all the botuli. Omar Run? Omar Run's a possibility, but if we hit an Anansi, like we're in a really bad spot. In fact, if we hit an Anansi, we lose. So I think we have to do something like this. Remember over Trank if you plan to pop Fermenter? Yes. Yeah, we considered popping it here. Simulchip, Omar Run. Then if a Nancy gets... Wait, Simulchip, Omar Run, then if Nancy gets Tranquilizer? Then use Fermenter? I'm not sure I follow Pincel. You trash Fermenter if you break Trank this turn. No, because basically I run. Wait, I think I fucked it up. Because do I need to get this in the bin or no? Because I think I need to get this in the bin to have access to this. Because Simulchip is not active. You can use Trank to pay the cost for Simulchip, then Simulchip it back. Right. So I should just Omar right now. because I can trash the Simulchip with Simulchip to install the Simulchip. So as long as I don't use the fermenter here. My physical cards came in today. Yo, that's sick. Engram Flush. They know the one card in our hand. Now we have no cards in our hand. We don't have to break this. Is it better to never have to break this than it is to have labor rights? I think it is just to never break this. I think we let this fire. Because breaking this is like a lot of money. If we install, yeah, I think, I feel my brain either expanding over, I mean, Simulchip it? I don't know if we Simulchip it. What do we Simulchip it with? Botulus? Let's see what they call first. Your deck doesn't need money. Let's see what they call first. It's better to use Simulchips to get 3 more Simulchips. No, that's true. But we can see when the runner encounters this, we can see their trigger should fire first. They know what this card is. You need to decide before blush, before call. Is it? I don't think so, because this is when you encounter a code gate, and this says when the runner encounters this ice. So shouldn't they have the same timing? And then oh, because it's our turn, ours should happen first. Well, we're definitely not installing Black Orchestra. If anything, we'll botulus this. Yeah, sorry, it's our turn. Excuse me. I forgot. I thought it was the corpse turn. They named hardware. Fantastic. That makes that easy. Die to snare. Subliminal messaging. I honestly am okay with them drawing that card. I don't think we imp this card. I don't know what I'm doing. This is too hard. I am so overwhelmed. Okay. Man, this is cool. So we pop this, it's for 10 credits. We don't need to do that. We could run R&D again, and in theory, if they res the Anansi, we could again just de-res it. We could tranquilize on the tranquilizer. Take 10, get turtle? They'll purge if we take 10, get turtle though, right? Straight brain melting for virus triggers. Because aren't they going to purge Pincel if we do that? I guess that's okay. I think we have to build up turtle. We definitely have to build up turtle at some point, but like I feel like I want to do that at the beginning of my turn to get value off of it. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna do what Pincel says, but then you can get Simulchip. Okay. Okay, so this turtle is 4 strength. Do you care? You can build turtle in archives? Yeah, we can. We definitely can. But until there's a CVS in archives, and they'll ice it up. You see, they're just going to purge here, which I think was pretty obvious, but I don't know if that's the biggest problem for us. And use Black Ore for Simulchip to get Bonchless on archives. What? Use Black Order for Simulchip? So you install the BO, and then you just... Ah, Jesus. We have to draw. So our last labor rights would get us Simulchip, labor rights into Simulchip, run R&D twice, install BO on encounter, and then sack it to Simulchip. We don't have a Simulchip though, so we'd install this, and then we'd botulus it, right? Yeah. This feels good. I'm just going to do it. It feels good. Omar run. I'm in danger. I see what this, so the play here is they install Black Orchestra on encounter. They named event. So then we're going to Simulchip. We'll trash this. We'll install a Botulus, which is a really strong card because not only does it build up counters so we can deal with some of these subroutines, but it starts with 2 counters. Then we're going to break these counters. Oh, this is tedious. But, you know, Hive Mind does that. Okay. R&D. Yes. Thank you. Cyberdeck Sandbox. Okay. All right, friends. We're doing it. We're believing. If it's not obvious, by the way, the person Pincel in chat is this Pincel. So we're in really good hands. We are literally beatable. We are incredibly beatable. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna labor rights here last click. We always can go through here. Yeah, we'll labor rights last click because then we can install a Simulchip and then run through run through this once we install the one card in hand. Conduit time. Yo, Wesley, good night. Nighty night. Do not labor rights? Well, fuck, I've already done it. Why is that better than just running R&D and tranking everything down? You now lose 2 of those to max? No, we're not max roamer. Yeah, yikes. Install, advance. Okay, so we can lose right here. It also could be an NGO front. I like 15 people can't pilot the deck at one time. It's just Pincel. Pincel's piloting it. We're just like waiting every time for the seer to like message us through the mist. More pilots equals better broth. Okay, so this easily could be agenda. The issue here is Anoetic Void, which they can trigger twice. We know it is Surveyor into Anansi into Thimblerig, right? That's our guess. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they can't res everything. We deal with the Thimblerig really easily. If we install the Simulchip, we can trash, in theory, the Imp. This also could be a Lacosta Grid into an Obokata, which means we need the Imp for that. So we can always install the Simulchip, run server 1, break this. We could Simulchip in the Tranquilizer to derez that, and then we'd be dealing with the 5 strength. Lacoste into Obo? Yeah, Lacoste into Obo is a possibility. Yo, Garbage Greg, I want to learn to play Netrunner. Have a set I bought years ago, but no one will play with me. What program is this? This is Jinteki.net. It's a website. Welcome, Greg. It's totally free to play. Get into the green level clearance Discord, which someone will link to you, and just get into like the new player section, and then someone will teach you how to use this. It's very user friendly. Did Pincel say something? I just don't like BO as an acronym. That's my input. That's fair. What are you waiting on, Pincel? Chat, take credit as a group. Okay, thanks, man. No, of course. Install Simulchip and Omar through Engram, right? Well, we could, but the problem is that we're going to lose to this thing. And we have no way, like, we can't, we'd have to win on 2 axes, and we can't do that with because we can't still Obokata it. Trash the Trank to derez Trank, but run Archives first. Okay, hold on. So if we install the Simulchip, which we need to, we could Omar run R&D. So what would happen is hopefully we don't trash something. We would get Hive Mind to 3 counters, and we'd get Amaku to 1 counter. We'd still be 1 short from dealing with what's it called, with the Surveyor. Then we could run this, and with the Simulchip, we could derez the Anansi. And then if they res the Surveyor, they could end the run if they really wanted to. But if they res all that stuff, they're not gonna have enough to score at the agenda. And then we would take 2 tags, which would be fine. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's what we're gonna go do at least. That's more important than it being right. You can imp the HQ cards to block the upgrade. It doesn't really matter because we can only imp 1 card really. We can install the Black Orchestra here too, so we don't have to trash something with Simulchip. I don't think we need the money. I'm gonna do that just to have that flexibility. You can run Archives twice for turrets. Oh wow, yeah, we can just run Archives twice unless there's a CVS in there, which there could be, but I imagine they would install in server 1. There actually could be a CVS here, which would be it wouldn't be a problem actually because of the safety. That's what's cool about this deck is because of Progenitor and the fact that you install Tranquilizer with 2 counters. There's actually a fair bit of safety from derezes. It's an Anoetic Void. So, oh no, fuck, we shouldn't have trashed that. Oh shit. I mean, I didn't. It was really important that we didn't trash that. Because now we can't get our turtle to 5 counters. Oh, we can. We could run Archives. No, we can't. Ugh. Yeah, they can just drag it from Archives onto R&D. Oh my god. What is this mess? Okay. So now we're going to run Archives and just hope. Oh wait, this would be 6, not 5. It's okay. We'll derez it. I feel like this is a maximum ruse NGO. It might be, but we still have to go for it. No CVS, no CVS, no CVS, no CVS. It's a border control. Okay, so border control on the remote, we still lose. If we had another Simulchip, we could do some nonsense. So just a single border control here, we lose. But I think we have a good read. We know what these two ice are, and we're pretty sure this is a Thimble rig. Okay, I like this deck. This deck is wild. If it's an Anoetic, we lose too. Install MK Ultra? No. What we're going to do is... because we haven't trashed a program, we can trash this. Goes to sleep. I'm hoping Urtica Cypher, there's no way. So again, Mana Garm we can deal with, Anoetic we can't deal with. And Anoetic is a problem. Actually, we're playing really poorly against Anoetic here. You can trash border control with Chisel if they're too lazy to immediately pop it. Yeah, they would have to fuck up. Oh, it's NGO, that's fine. It's an Anoetic. Okay. Probably Purge here. And they're top decking the Anoetic. Okay, still holding on, y'all. Fortunate to take it, Glacier players are the hardest of meta people. You won't find surprise cards. Well, the thing is, like, their deck is so good at keeping you out that putting cards that punish you for getting in, like, doesn't line up well. All right, they Purge, which I'll be honest, doesn't really do much. Because we just Omar R&D. Conduit. We know this is an Anansi here. I don't think we can call it Conduit. Called it? You know, I think that's fair. But it didn't cost us that much to run it. Like, we're just going to run archives like 4 times. The Purge really doesn't do anything. Surveyor. I think we imp that. Maybe we don't imp that, honestly. Okay, let's build this up. Urtica would make Jinteki Glacier a lot weaker, so it's kind of like giving you 3% on your win rates if they run it. Yeah, I think if the deck wants to run something like that, it's probably more likely to run Snare because we slam Centrals, and after a turn, if we hit a Snare, they can jam an Obokata pretty safely. That's a bit different when you have an Imp, but that's the idea. If you know what to expect, it's good. No? Sorry? You're right, though, like, if people will play poorly around something, potentially. Fuck. You seem to be in a really solid position. You say that, but now we have to deal with this. It could be a CVS. So we still Omar. And as soon as we get to 5 strength, we're okay. We don't have a Simulchip, though, so we might want to draw, install, and then run server 5 to ensure that we don't get blown out. Celebrity gift, that's fine. So now we're at 6 strength, right? But if they Purge, we're down to 1 strength, which means the Anansi will connect, which the Anansi we have to break for 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So that's not good enough. So we'd have to do draw. It's also an Anoetic Void, right? Because we know they top decked into it. So we'd have to actually run this multiple times. So that is going to be a problem for us. I don't actually think we can close this off. Right? It can't be void in CVS. Oh, you're right, though. I think we just have enough credits. Like, this is 3, 4. In theory, we can take the tags. 3, 4, 5. And we can run this twice. If we click for credit. All right, let's run. Yeah, you're right. Anoetic kills us, but they don't threaten the score. It doesn't actually kill us because they can only fire Anoetic once because they need 2 cards and 2 credits. So here, this is the magic, right? Because this is now 6 strength. And again, also, they're rezzing stuff. I mean, it kills our 1-shot at server 1. Yeah, but we can run it twice, I think. Unless there's some surprise ice here. Making it really awkward. It's cool how well this can deal with some ice. It's some of the biggest ice in the game. That being said, it took us a lot of time to set up, and we played this terribly. So, like, you know, the skill cap here is really exciting. They're thinking, do they want to spend 6? Why aren't they? Just another Cyberdex? Kinchin, what do you mean? Why aren't they what? Rezzing? They win if they score the agenda. That's, like, obviously very important. We don't though. Oh, there's no Greg, there's no okay, what you can do to find the Discord link, read higher up. I don't know what I missed. But if you go to nearearthhub.net, Greg, nearearthhub.net, there's a link to the Discord in there. Kenshin was responding to Thanos. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so they did res it. So I just make sure we can break this for 2, which puts us on 4, and then we could run back, but then we can't deal with a Nazi. So I'm actually going to take the tag. Losing the cookbook is obviously a bummer, and it really lowers the strength of some of our deck, but I think we have to do it. So we'll break 1, and we'll break the end of the run. And they can fire the tags, because the problem is like we need at least 3 credits for this, 1 credit for this, and I think it's a thimble rig here, so I want to keep another credit. So we'll go tag me. Oh, Terrence, thank you. What a great website. Yeah, that's Dan's website. It's really, really good. Die to boom. Okay, let's see if they res the Anoetic. Again, that throws out their hand too. I said it is an Anoetic. Ooh, it was an NGO front. So it looks like we've gone tag me. We definitely trashed that for 1. And at this point, I think we just run R&D, right? Wait, did we see the top of R&D? We saw the top of R&D, right? This also will de-res if they don't purge. You need to get your Simulchips into play. Yeah, we definitely do. Maybe we just do draw and stall. I think that's better, right? Because that puts a threat on. But I think we're going to lose our cookbook. I just want to keep no cards in hand so we don't have to deal with the Engram flush. Yeah, you're right. We always need access to this so we can contest the remote. But if we lose our cookbook, it gets a lot harder. So they just purged. But again, that purge seems pretty fucking terrible. Right? Like, we just still Omar. It was a celebrity gift. Okay, so we know hand is celebrity gift, subliminal. I think that's all we know. Like the fact that we get counters back, I think the purging doesn't make any sense. Thimble rig. We'll leave that because we break that for 1. And I think we actually click for credits. Once we get to what, we want to be 6 strength, sometimes 8 strength. Money is bad. Yeah, we need a modicum of money. We can always panic and simulchip in over our Black Orchestra. We can simulchip in a fermenter. So we're at 4. 4 is good enough, right? Yeah, okay, we'll take some money. I should probably put my tokens on an H. You really should, Dan. I don't know why you didn't. I looked there. I was upset that we weren't there. Andre talking shit about Architect's plays. Well, I don't see the purge being that good here. Like they need to just jam into Anoetic Void and a defensive upgrade, I think. You did see with celebrity. Okay, yeah, right. Imagine how many counters Conduit would have now. All those Omar runs. I know, and maybe we should just simulchip for a Conduit because you're right. It would be incredibly strong. But I feel like I'm a bit of a coward here. And we only have 2 more simulchips, and we need those to contest the remote. The bigger issue is like we have to win off 2 more 2-pointers, and there's just not that many 2-pointers. Purges keep you out of the front door at least? Yeah, but for like, not long. Yeah, because if we hit an Obokata, like we have to imp it, which is fine. But we'll never be able to steal it. So we actually have to find 2 legit 2-pointers. So like 2 more Niseis, or a Nisei and whatever the 3-2 is if they play it. That's fine. Probably no snares. It doesn't look like it. We should have died a long time ago. Yeah, now I feel bad not having Conduit. Now I feel really bad not having Conduit. Okay. What a game. I love when people weather the storm to include myself. Border control on the remote also could be a thing. I think we'll use 1 simulchip for Conduit and try and close the game off. Yeah, you can maybe make the Conduit play. Yeah, I think we have to. Especially because at that time, it'll come in with a lot of counters with Hive Mind. And then like any turn that they don't purge, you're right. That's actually a big difference because then the Conduit comes in with a lot of counters. And then we break R&D. Like the only thing that we're scared of on R&D is Macrophage. If no purge Conduit, yeah, I think 100%. Ooh, they trashed the Engram flush. For what? Okay. That's 50 minutes into the round. Simulchip now? I don't think we care to. It doesn't change anything. I think we simulchip as soon as the run on R&D is considered successful. Like, we will Omar first. Here, the only blowout is a macrophage. Oh. Oh, that's really cool because they repositioned their eyes. Okay. That actually cost us a credit. So we'll see what they move in. We'll react to that. Install conduit end of turn. Installing conduit end of turn doesn't change anything. So we're going to install conduit now, I think. Because you don't have to trash anything. I don't mind trashing the Black Orchestra. So I think there's an Anansi there now. Crisium Grid. Oh, that's a bit scary. I think we imp the Crisium Grid. I think we do imp the Crisium Grid. No, but then we won't be at 7 strength. Okay. Oh, what did I fuck up? I got a no. Need 7 strength turtle? Yeah. We need a 7 strength turtle. That's why I didn't imp. Okay, so now we just win, right? I think you imp Obas. Yeah, Grog, we have to imp Obas for sure. So now we have 3 credits, which means if there's a Nancy into Thimblerig, we have a problem here. So we could go all in and like Simulchip in for our fermenter, pop that, gain 1 billion credits, and just try and win off of that. I'm going to ask real quick in chat, is it right, Pincel? Do you think we just click for credit and run R&D twice to see obviously like 6 cards? Or do we go for the, do we Simulchip for the fermenter? If they res the Anansi, we can always we de-res it though with the Simulchip, so that seems nice. But then we should have trashed this. Fuck. You can run now because Anansi gets killed? Because a chisel! Oh! Thanks, man. I just need your confidence. The mentor play lowers turn your strength? No, it doesn't, because it actually doesn't eat the hive mind counters. It's not like cash. Oh, it's a Malinzi. Okay. That's worse than a Nancy. Well, I guess we destroy that. So we gotta win now, because boy, do we not have see ya. Okay, so let's access some cards. It chisel kill it, no, 100%. Wait, actually, do we have to? Trash the top 4 cards? Oh, you can't do that if you don't have the cards, huh? Okay, we're hoping to win here. We might hit a CVS though, and then it's really bad. Oh, now that Nancy's there. Okay, this is really gonna be hard. Crisium, that's fine. Border, that's a problem. Anchor Flesh. Obakata, imp it. Anansi, Nisei. Please, one more. Credit go back. It's the only thing we have. And then they purge and they win. Y'all feeling lucky? So we'll break it for 3 with our Amaku is 7 strength. So we can just pay 1. What? They conceded? Why? What? No. Wait. No. Huh? There's only 2 more cards. No. They didn't mean to concede. Wait, what happened? Oh, because we didn't break, we die to Nancy because I didn't interact with it properly. Oh, that's on me. Lol. I thought they conceded. I didn't concede, yeah. So Nancy flatlined because we didn't actually break it, so the game saw us pass it and did the 3 net damage. Okay, so technically we lose. Okay, so still, I don't think we win this. DRM, Obakata. Good game. Oh, our stats are ruined. I think that's a good game. I don't think we have a chance here. That's a good purge. Woof. Okay, so let's talk about this. We know that there's an Obakata here. If we know about the agendas, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there's maybe 2 more agendas here. Omar, if they purge and pray, we could Omar. There's a chance it's an Engram Flush. If it's a Nancy, we die on the spot. If it's a Macrophage, we'd have to click for a credit. So I think you're right that we just click and go HQ. We can't go for the Macrophage for the trace, but it's the best bet we have. Is I think just click once. Wonder if Arc Lockdown's a good splash against this type. Oh, Limes, Arc Lockdown destroys this deck. I think you're going to see it if this gets more popular. And I think it should be popular because, oh my god, it's cool. We know it's a Nancian Archives, though, don't we? Oh, I think you're right. I think we know it's a Nancian Archives. Yeah. No, because they swapped the Thimble Rig with this ice. So, yeah, we know it's an Nancian Archives. No, you're totally right. Yeah, because they swapped an Anansi out from the Thimble Rig, and then they swapped an Anansi in from the remote, I think. We can't run this for 1 credit. We're going to need, like, a shit ton of credits. I think we probably just succeed. Click 4, you're still okay? Well, I wouldn't say okay, but yeah. Oboe and R&D is like down 6 or something. I didn't count because I was pretty sure it's over. It was an HQ the whole time. Oh no. Okay, so let's talk about this. They can res the Nancy. That'll be a problem for us. They can res the 8 strength Surveyor. That'll be a problem for us. If that's the last Oboe, that's a problem for us. We're going to YOLO HQ. I don't think 7 creds changes much. GG. I think we die to a spider here. Oh. Wait, did we fuck it up? It was in there. If that's an NG Obokata, though, we won't feel bad. It was. What? Good game. Wait, what's on Archives? Oh, you didn't. Okay, it was there. Damn it. Good game. Message sent. All right, well done. Oh man, that's wild. And we played that poorly and we still had a pretty good chance and made a pretty exciting game. And you see some of the interactions that when this deck gets set up is really unfavorable for the sort of ice that decks that run big ice, right? Like the fact that you can instant kill a Nancy, instant D-res a Nancy. The fact that you have all these tricks is really interesting. Waited so long to do it. Oh, maybe it was an HQ and we could have just gone HQ with Omer. Maybe that'd be more interesting. But like obviously when you get to the end of your deck, there's problems in terms of like just having enough cards to steal Obokata. You generally imp them away, but then we need to find a lot of agendas. That was a cool game. Trash one saw the other, but Sam is something. It is something. Yeah. So that's all the agendas, I think. Wait, 3, 6, 9 in the deck, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, that was it. That was the only agenda we could possibly scored. So well done. Wow, what a game. I think I missed a message here. From Bergam. Just want to say hi to Andre. I'm from Minsk, Belarus, and I'm going to job and listening to your stream. Thank you for your videos. Yo, cheers. Enjoy the job. Hopefully it's okay. Glad you're liking the content. Hey, cheers from Belarus. That's awesome. Thanks for the kind words. Kind of trigger trying to figure out how to work around Turtle Hive Mind Trank on the remote. It's so hard. Yeah, I think Anoetic gets there though. With BC. Yeah, I think if they had Anoetic and an agenda at the right time, they'd be okay. Hi, Andre. I've been playing a lot with a lot of new players in the last month or so. I'm loving the community so much. It's been so good. Like, okay. There's so many new people showing up. Green level clearance is popping off. I know a lot of people are subscribing to the channel and we've seen this sort of growth we haven't seen in a long time. And that's really exciting. Like putting out content and there's like, not that there wasn't like a year ago, but like the audience is so happy and people are engaging with it. And I find that to be so fantastic. The fact that more people are getting into this game that a lot of us have been getting into a long time and like really want to share that enthusiasm with is just so rad. Shouldn't have baited with that second void. Should just double advance NGO. Maybe. Actually, hey, you too. That's quite a game. The runner looks like Hive Mind Max from NRDB. Yeah, Frisbee. This is Hive Mind Max. This is probably going to be the deck list next week. And the German group, NWE, we're playing this at a tournament that was last weekend, which was the first, I think, like big competitive tournament in the new standard meta. It's kind of incredible. I'm really excited to see how this does in the meta because it's firstly, as you could see, a bit tricky to play. That being said, check out Sengren's YouTube channel and there's like a really good video of Pincel, who is in chat, who also posted the video, or posted the deck list talking about how to play it. And it's really cool to see. You see like a lot of games really quickly because games go fast. Last time I talked about an Issei person, they said Uprising outsold Downfall. Yeah, that's sick. And Nisei hasn't given numbers, but they said they were also like their sales so far of the new stuff of System Gateway outsold what they expected, which is sick. You're an international superstar, Andre. Thank you, Steven. I'll let it not get to my head. I played 99 Max in that tourney. Hell yeah. Did 99 Max get anything really good? Yeah, they did. Botchless is actually quite good for that sort of deck. I gotta play more of that. Oh, cheers. Hey, that's very kind. That's largely going to be it. Really quick though, some important news. Firstly, I showed up as a guest on the ShadowNet. Check that out. We've been shouting at Yusengren's YouTube channel. Check that out. Subscribe. There needs to be more subscribers here because the content is really good and they're streaming pretty regularly. What else is going to say? Looks like in our meta here in Montreal, we're going to be running an online startup format. So that's System Gateway plus all the Nisei cards. So we're going to be having an online tournament. I'm not sure of the time and date yet. It's going to be in either a week or 2 weeks. I'll announce it on the stream for sure. So you'll know about it probably a week in advance. We're likely going to do just a Tuesday night, like 3 rounds, 4 rounds, not hyper competitive. Anybody's welcome to enter. I don't know if we're going to have prize support, just kind of for fun. We'll stream it probably. I don't know if I'll play, but we'll stream it. And if anyone wants to join, we'd love to have you. I'll tell you more about that when it shows up soon enough. Everyone's really excited in my meta to play startup. Startup is like very approachable as like a gateway into standard. And I think some people are even enjoying it more than standard, just because the power level seems to be a bit lower. Otherwise, the HB card review stuff that went out on Monday, and that seems to be really well received. So I'm going to try and get out a second one this Monday for Anarch, and we're going to do Corp Runner. And I think that's all the news I got. We're waiting for Nisei to put out the comprehensive rules document and the release documents, which is a lot of work. I'm excited when all that stuff comes out so we know how to say the names of cards better and how some of the interactions work. And hopefully you ordered some cards when they're showing up. It looks like some people are getting them as soon as today and or yesterday. And I'm really excited to see the stuff come in. Rules document? Just tweet at Lucas. Oh my God. I want to tweet at Lucas. Yo, Lucas, how does this work? The good old days. Thanks for stream, Andre. Always fun spending my Friday morning watching. Yo, cheers, Jinglets. Glad I can be part of that. Frisbee said, I saw your HP video today and it was very helpful for a new player. I'm really excited to hear that that actually lands well with new players because there's a lot, like there's a whole, backstory of how HB works. And it's really cool that Gateway can communicate that pretty well with like only 8 cards, but it's still, we're going to try and make it as approachable as possible. We're going to have a section on NH for those faction videos. Oh, sick, Dan. That's really cool. Thank you. Lol, but for real. That's largely it. Thanks to everyone hanging out in chat, everyone posting decks on our NDB, everyone watching the VOD, people we played games against tonight. Thanks, Pincel. We needed you there. That's largely be it. We'll have a video hopefully up on Monday, give or take a day, and then we'll be back next Thursday. Take care of yourselves, Al. Standard looks kind of fun. It does. I think that's all. Yeah. Ciao.